And it actually works. Nice. Okay. And then we put... We put this here. Boop. Now we grab it and we put it here. Boop. And now we grab it and we put it here too. A third place, actually. Alright, cool. YouTube doesn't work for real? Yeah, you know what? We should all... I should gaslight everyone. The reason that YouTube chat's not on screen, I tried. It's literally impossible, I fear. Anyone else who you've seen doing that is lying to you. It's never been done. The platform doesn't have... The platform just simply does not have the capabilities, I fear. This banner is blessed. I got both in under 10 pulls. That's great. I mean, it's a frontrunner main. This is like... This is the fucking one you want, right? So... It's a big one. I am not pulling on this shit at all, but... Very happy for all the frontrunners to not have to grind groundwork anymore. Very happy for you. Well, I guess... Yeah, if you're gonna run like double or triple front, you still do. But at least one of your aces will be a lot easier to make at this point. Technology doesn't exist yet for YouTube chat to be on stream. That's what I'm saying, man. They just didn't allow us. They're holding us back. What is a support card, actually? Aww. Determined Descent. What the fuck is he in high spirits? Determined Descent. That's an interesting one. That's the gold of straight descent, yeah? Just hire a guy to copy paste it in your chat. True. Anyone who you've seen with their YouTube chat on stream is literally fucking gaslight. It's AI generated. It's not real. Is this a guts card? This has to be a fucking guts card or something, right? They wouldn't put Determined Descent on a good card, I feel like. That's a really nice skill sometimes. Very situational, obviously, but every now and then. Ice skate. Hold up. Is it not telling, brother? Is there really not an easy way to tell? Oh, wit. Oh, wait, really? This is a wit card with Determined Descent on it. You're a guts card. Okay, yeah. That's kind of nice, no? Is the card ass? Card might be ass. I was holding. This game's a little loud looking. Let me keep the voices up. That's fine. It's a borrow merchant, but like, hold on. I just want to take a look. I just want to talk, man. I just want to talk. I'm just curious. It's not bad. What the fuck? Oh. Wait, that's an interesting card. It's one. Well, only one bond gauge is full, but I just saw whip out as 3 and I got jump scared. Oh, and she has priority too. Huh. That's a pretty decent. No mood effect. She has a speed. She gets a speed bonus at. This is an interesting card, right? That's a pretty solid. That's a pretty solid wit card. No race, obviously not for upcoming. No race bonus at all. No fan bonus. Hints and shit. Pace corners. I mean, honestly, very little. It's very hard. Like, I think you're the only thing that gives pace corners that isn't a fucking guts card or something right now. Is Majero Arden. So having another card that does it is nice, right? That's a good card, man. What are the events like? Ass or something? Shifting gears. That's not bad. Determined Descent, guaranteed as well. As long as she gets all the way through her shit. Yeah, Nishino Flower can get you charming as well. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that Nishino Flower, man. I mean, I'm not gonna pull. What the fuck? Why are there 2,000 carrots in my box? What? Why are there 2,000? What happened? I missed it. Why'd they just deposit 2,000 carrots in my box? Something happened? Free money? I mean, I'll take free money. Best part of Bourbon is that she actually buffs S Maru since you can take her unique to proc S Maru unique since it counts as a recovery. You know what? I want to try and keep up with what these characters do to an extent. I've already forgotten some of the less relevant ones, like the ones that aren't like meta defining anyway, but let's at least make an effort. So let's read these 3 because I actually have not seen really anything about them. What do you do besides the one gift that shall not be named? Ambition to surpass the Sakura with 300 meters or less remaining. If you are 4th or better and there's someone in front of you. Okay, so it's like worse pulse, kind of. Kind of. I mean, it's certainly less. It's certainly a little bit less consistent because of this, but it is actually nice that it activates 300 meters away, because on a lot of tracks, Pulse activating 200 meters away, it wastes its full duration. It doesn't give you, well, not on a lot of tracks, I guess. It's really just on longs where you have that issue. Right? Not the worst thing in the world. Comes with Speedstar inherent, which is nice. Oh, Gold Spring Runner. I see. This is 60 speed and power? Yeah. Comes with head on from her events as well. That's actually okay. I see it. I assume this is a secret event. Yes. Objective related, but the event will vary on your the event will vary depending on your result. So you just have to win the Japan Cup and she gets head on? I know in Mant there's no secret events or anything like that, right? But I mean this okay. I mean she seems her ult is nothing too special. But she just seems like a nice, easy to build kind of Uma, right? And I mean, if you don't have to like borrow something to get head on or otherwise, it might let you make a stronger deck. So that's nice. I like this the Sakura Tiono, right? If it's gonna be a spring race as well, right? It works. Comes with free Speed Star. Comes with basically free head on, winning the Japan Cup. I mean, yeah, she has medium A baseline, so it's not even hard. Growths. I mean, I guess growths are a little odd, but like maybe guts will be good later, and then speed wit's always nice. What about you? We looked at you earlier, but I forgot now. Medium and long, guten Appetit. How do you say this? This is not a German word, bro. I don't think, anyway. I'm pretty sure. I'm rather certain. Passing another runner 3 times on the final corner or later, then on the, kind of like the Rudolph condition, right? On the final straight, you get 6 seconds of 0.35. Okay. I mean, on races where the final straight is in, like, past the acceleration zone, this is, I mean, this is better Pulse, probably, right? Horse is cooking or something? The horse is cooking. Well, the horse is baking, I suppose. She's a pâtissière. It's a bit of a waste in most cases, I'm afraid. Yeah, on longer tracks. I mean, she's a medium and long horse, right? This should be good on most longer tracks. Like, I bet you, even if we go back to, like, the Derby or something, this is probably kind of nice, no? Jesus. Okay. I mean, yeah, right? Like, the final straight here happens probably at the end of the acceleration zone. The longer the track, the better this is. Want to hear base Aishin is better until Evo skills? Maybe. But this ult isn't... I don't think it's that bad. But yeah, it's like, on anything shorter than this, it's probably not going to be very good. But, 6 seconds of 0.35. This is, basically... Pulse? With a worse... Again, Pulse is a really good skill, so the fact this is like Pulse but a little worse is probably not that bad. What's going on, Cassie? We'll say out of Geef. We can do that. She comes with Dominator, Flash Forward. Oh, I mean, this is... Yeah, this is gold medium straightaways, huh? Sure. I have to go soon. Let me say hi to both of the boys. Okay. We'll do that. Fighter. Yeah, okay. Maybe the, her kit otherwise. Her ult isn't bad. I think her kit is not super impressive, right? Here are the boys. Hello, it's the boys. Geef says hi. Geef says hello. Geef says Ramadan Kareem. Though technically I'm not fasting today. I should be fasting starting tomorrow. There seems to be a little bit of confusion this year. The way it always works is the Islamic calendar is a lunar calendar. But Geef says hi. The Islamic calendar is a lunar calendar. So the way that they tell when a new month has began. Also, Hugo says hi as well. Hugo also actually says Ramadan Kareem. The way that you can tell when Ramadan starts up is you have to like literally see the new moon, right? They got like a fucking observatories and shit doing that. And I guess in different parts of the world, sometimes you can tell that there's a new phase of the moon, and sometimes you can't, or some shit, right? Happy Lunar New Year, indeed. So it's sometimes there's some disagreement. I know some Muslims are fasting today for Ramadan. To my understanding, in Toronto, we aren't. But everyone will be fasting starting tomorrow. There's no debate on that, certainly. So for now, I still get to drink some water. Ramadan debuff tomorrow. Hey, I'm glad we went crazy on the top 8s right before Ramadan. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, maybe it'll help me lock in even more. But if the Sandy to Master is any indication, well, no. To be fair, hold on. I'm probably going to not be. So, Yeah, I'm gonna be breaking my fast at like 5:40 or something. So like most of the stream, like by the time we're in the tournaments, we probably won't be. I won't have time to like eat a proper meal, but I'll at least have some sodium in my system. We'll see. We'll see. Ramadan will give you the blessed buff. Yeah. I'll go streamer, man. Horsing around. A little bit of horsing around. Interesting. I know nothing about Ramadan. I want to research it. I mean, if you want to talk about like the history and stuff, that's one thing. But if you just want to say like what it means, essentially, for 1 month, Muslims will fast, and the way the fasting works, obviously you're not fasting for a month, that would kill you, is from sunrise to sunset, no foods, no water, keep the sinning to a minimum, you know, maybe don't say anything too mean, you know, don't try not to goon too much, etc., etc. Like it's not just the eating and the drinking, it's also like you're supposed to aspire to be the best version of yourself, and then after sundown, right, is when you get to eat and drink again. No galleon rule 34, you know, we do our best. You know, the gooting's the hardest part for Brick. Yeah, it's the worst time for Galleon to be buffed. That's what I'm saying, man. I see her every other match. Astaghfirullah. But yeah, so it's actually, so the interesting thing, right? There's an interesting pattern where, because the Islamic calendar is a lunar calendar, but it still is comprised of 12 months, the Islamic calendar year is out of step with the length of a rotation around the sun. Yes? The Islamic calendar year is, I can't remember exactly, but it's like 355 days long or something like that, because, you know, 12 lunar cycles is not 365 days. So the way that it works is every day, every year, Ramadan gets about 10 days earlier, right? So, like 8 years ago, it was really rough, because 8 years ago, if you flash forward 80 days from now, it was like, you know, it was like April, May, like we went through a stint where Ramadan was in like April, May, June, July, like as you go further back. And if you live in a place like North America anyway, like, you know, in Toronto here, what time sunrise and sunset is varies tremendously by the time of year. Yeah. Like when I first came here to Canada, like 13 years ago, it was like, you know, Ramadan was kind of fucked, because sunrise would be, I mean, the sun would rise really early, right? Sunrise would be like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or something, and the sun would set at like 9:30, like at the height of the summer, right? At the height of the summer, it sets at like genuinely like 9 or 9:30. So it is like a good 75% of the day that you are, and most of it in your waking hours too, right? Like it's not like, oh, I wake up at work for 8, right? But yeah, but it's from 8 a.m. to like fucking 9:30 p.m. You're cooked. So actually it was really hard. But now it's slowly been coming backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards, and now like a decade and a half later, roughly, where the first day is, depending on who you ask, today or tomorrow, February, right? And it's fucking, I got like a nice 10-20 years of like the easiest fucking Ramadans you've ever seen, man. Sunrise is like 7 p.m. and sunset is like 5:30. Oh, it feels like cheating. It's literally not. Like unless, to my understanding, unless you live in a place where it's like the conditions are so bad that it's like unsafe to do so. Like if you live in a place where some places in the fucking summer or winter, like the sun doesn't set, right? So you would just die. It was like, you can't drink water for 2 weeks. Then you can just go on, I believe the time in Mecca, right? In Saudi Arabia. But generally you just go by your own sunrise and sunset. And you know, we get the Smurf. I'm Smurfing. I get the Smurf, right? I used to live in Alaska. The sun never set where I lived. Yes. So luckily, the religion does not say, die, dumbass, skill issue. If it's like truly like ridiculous where you're at, you will just use the Saudi Arabian, well, not the Saudi, specifically the Meccan, because that's where the Kaaba is. That's like the holy site generally for Islam, alongside Jerusalem as well. But anyway, you would just go off the sunrise and sunset of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. So the religion will be better if it told the British Empire to die. It's you know, historically it's tried a few times. You know, a lot of consolidation of resources there. But anyway, so Valentine Ice and Flash, underwhelming, right? I feel like Valentine Ice and Flash acquired, nice. I mean, he's you know, he's a little cutie patootie in her little apron. The ult actually seems quite good, but the rest of the kit does not inspire, this does not spark joy, necessarily. Growths are interesting, right? Again, especially for a medium-long Uma. Yeah, sure. And then obviously we have Thanos here. 10, 10, 10. And you are also, yeah, medium mile long, right? And honestly, she's very flexible, right? You can run her, I mean, dirt is going to be a little tough for her, but you can run her basically everywhere. Like, sprint C that's good enough, man. That's very easy. If you're in a sprint CM, that's very easy to make her up, so. Do you usually like spend parts of the day cooking a juicy-ass meal during Ramadan, or do you just get a big old pizza or something? It depends. It's weird. Cooking, when I lived alone and I was cooking my own meals, I now live with my mother. It's weird. Like, you'd think it would make you hungrier than it is. Oddly, it's got like a weird, when you spend like a few hours around food and can't eat it, it kind of resatiates you, strangely. Your body goes, all right, then, asshole, then I won't ask for the food. The body adapts to your eating patterns? Yeah, I guess so. Like, it certainly does. The first few days and the last few days are always the hardest, right? Because the first few days is like, especially like day 1 and 2. Actually, it's day 2 and 3 in particular. Because day 1, it's still like funny. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, what a novelty, right? But like day 2 and 3 are usually like, all right, the fucking novelty is starting to wear off, and I want to drink, so I'm thirsty. But then the middle part, the entire middle part is usually quite easy. And then, like, the last few days is like, oh, it's almost over. Can't wait to have breakfast again, like, when I wake up. And then a multi-gop Valentine Bourbon and Hichi Amazon. Nice. Yeah, so she's super flexible, yeah. The body realizes, oh, okay, asshole, we're going in survival mode now? Yes, indeed. All right, the joke's not funny anymore? Yeah, exactly. Like, please, I'm tired. All right, this is good. This is a very good aptitude spread, right? This is the best aptitude spread in the game? It might be. Is it? Like, I feel like most, like, there are some that have, like, one of, yeah? Like, I know Ogre goes, like, A mile, A medium, B long, but her sprint is F, right? I feel like this is, to have, like, C as your worst, this might be the best aptitude spread in the game, honestly. You can just very easily run her on, I mean, I guess this would be the, like, if you want to say that, like, Ogre has a better aptitude spread than Valentine Bourbon, it'll be because, yes, her sprint is worse, but she also has dirt B, right? So she can run, like, dirt, mile, medium, long. Well, there's no dirt longs. I think there is a dirt medium. I think it does exist. But she can run dirt races as well. But dirt, sprints, I mean, they're both pretty rare. But yeah, very, very good. Very good. I mean, this, honestly, like, if, I don't know how future scenarios work. But generally, like, since she's obviously, like, she only has A front, this can kind of be good. For Alharu, at least, this is good. It's generally annoying to have multiple A aptitudes here because it leads to you getting a bigger scatter shot of skills out of your bursts. Yes? And again, for that reason, for Alharu at least, it's actually nice that her mile and long start at B. So if you don't want them to, right? If you're running a medium CM, you can guarantee that you're going to get, like, medium front skills off of your bursts. I'm not sure if that mechanic, if something similar to that mechanic carries on. As we go forward, like, if your aptitudes determine something about what the RNG of the scenario gives you for hints or something. But at least for Alharu, this is kind of elite, right? 1A, 1A. I can make another A if I want, or I can just be with 2 A's, right? And I don't have a bunch of A's clogging up things. And if I want to, again, I can bring any of these up to A very easily. So that's quite nice. What's her ult? I know the big thing with her, she comes with groundwork, but I don't actually know what her ult does. Take a slight breather and increase velocity. You have to be 4th or better in the mid-race, not on a corner, and someone is within 3 horse lengths behind you? Okay, so this is actually the hardest. This is the thing that might make her have a harder time. Oh, no, on a corner. Yes, no, you're right, sorry. Yeah, on a corner. I always read this backwards. Yes, this is corner not equals 0. Yes. So you have to be on a corner. Oh, this is just guaranteed as a front runner, no? Like, can you even... How, like, this is someone has to be within 3 horse lengths behind you, and you're on a corner in a mid-race, and you're 4th or better? This has to just be, like, a Garrett, like, this is... When does this ever not proc? And she just gets, yeah, mid-race. I mean, this is really good for a front runner, right? Helping you fight for first. And yeah, it's a recovery too, so I see what you mean, right? You inherit this on Summer Maru, and then not only, I mean, it's gonna be a lot weaker, obviously, but it'll still give you some mid-race velocity. 3 seconds of 0.15. I mean, that's a speed skill, right? That's better than most white speed skills. Most white speed skills are not gonna last for 3 seconds, yeah? And then it also will count as, I mean, it's barely actually recovering stamina, but it counts as a recovery for her ult, right? Because she has to pop 1 recovery, is that right? To get her ult. She has to have popped 1 recovery by the time that she gets in the mid-race, so. This versus corner recovery is night and day. Yeah, a lot of the times you don't necessarily want the recovery out of the recovery. You just want to pop a recovery. The fact that this will just give you, like, a really good white speed skill at the same time is really nice. You can use this to proc Maru's unique. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying when I'm talking about the inherit. This is really, really good for her too, right? So even more, like, synergy there. Pace Ogres too? Yeah, that's true. This is actually quite nice for, this isn't, like, guaranteed on Pace Ogre, but still pretty easy, right? You could certainly have this is nice for Christmas Ogre on Pace as well. A nice argument for Pace Ogre over late Ogre in certain situations too. Hashtag front high if we move. I mean, this is a big, this and then KSB, right? I assume are like pretty big buffs to front that happen like back to back. Summer Maru coming out too has got to be pretty nice. Good stack growths, right? I guess low wit is actually kind of rough for a front runner, but I mean, the fact that you have this means you can just focus more on this, right? Focus more on your wit. Let's see. She comes with Escape Artist, which is a nice gold. She comes with Concentration, and she comes with Groundwork. Yeah. That's pretty crazy, right? Very easy to build. It's like the gold chip of frontrunners. You know, like gold chip in every fucking long CM where gold chips, where end closes are good. It's like everyone's gonna rock a gold chip. One, I mean, she's free, obviously, which is a big thing that she has over Valentine Bourbon. But she also just has everything. She comes with Umastan, right? She comes with like a gold recovery baked in, right? Her ult is amazing for positioning in the mid race. All you have to do is get spurt on her, essentially. This is, I mean, it's even more than gold chip because yeah, like she even comes with. I mean, she comes with, like, your key acceleration, essentially, right? Obviously, like, angling and scheming is your key acceleration for fronts, but no one comes with that except for Saiyan Sky, so. Very nice. Very nice, right? And she gets Final Push as well. Yeah, I mean, I understand why this horse remains so good for so long, right? Because I think something to note is that people, there's an importance to Umas that come with everything that isn't just, oh, they're easy to build. Yes? Like, it's not just, oh, they're easy. Like, if the Uma already comes with all of the skills, that means you have to slot in fewer cards, for example, exclusively to get that skill, right? Or you don't have to make a compromise of, like, picking a worse parent stat-wise and pink spark-wise and white spark-wise, but, like, this one has a groundwork spark and this one doesn't, right? Now I can just bring my stronger parent, you know, if I don't have the perfect parent and for every single situation, which you probably don't, right? If she comes with like good ways to just fight for like the mid race baked into her kit, you can try and maybe fit in more accelerations. It gives you flexibility, and if you don't need the flexibility, it gives you consistency, right? Like now, all I need to do is find a card that gives her taking the lead, which. Is that not the is that not the one that the wit? Oh, cause she's bourbon. Yes, I was gonna say the wit bourbon gives taking the lead, but you're bourbon, so you can't get it. Yeah. But yeah, so like it takes RNG out of your runs, right? If you think about high rolling for a CM ace, normally, right? You like say for example, you have to hit distance S, you have to get the hints that you need, you have to get good trainings, right? And, you know, maybe even other, like, you know, maybe you have to win Alharu finals, right? If NSM is good for the race or the position that you're doing, whatever, right? The more things you can take out of that equation, the better, right? And getting your hints is one of the harder, like, it's one of the things that is the most out of your control. Yes? Inherent concentration is stronger than taking the lead, so it's okay. True. It also comes with her fucking, like, groundwork procs, like, most of them already there, right? So like getting your skill hints to go off is, I lumped it in like it was one thing. It's like, oh, getting distance S, getting good trainings, getting your skill hints. This is often multiple things, right? So just getting those for free means that, you know, if I do 50 runs with Valentine Bourbon and you do 50 runs with Saiyan Sky or something like that, on average, I'm going to come out of those runs, let's assume that they're about equally good just in a vacuum, right? Let's not say that one of them is just better. Just on the purpose of the consistency of the kit, right? I'm going to come out of those 50 runs with a much better CM horse because I just get to hard focus on a couple of things every run, and the odds that, you know, I already have all my skills built into my kit. I don't have to hunt for anything. There's no RNG there. All I have to do is get good trainings and distance tests. That's it, right? So the odds that hits within X amount of runs is a lot higher than the guy who has to also do that, right? But then maybe he also needs to get like 2 different hints to go his way, right? He has to hit one on inspiration and one from a card or something. Adding like 4 layers of RNG, the odds that all of them go your way is, I mean, exponentially lower than the odds that 2 things go your way, right? Assuming they even have remotely similar chances. Hitting 2 50-50s is a 25% chance, right? Hitting 4 50-50s is, I mean, you can do the math. I'm stupid. 1 in 4, 1 in 8, 1 in 16, right? It's 4 times more likely, right, to hit 2 50-50s than 1 50-50. So if I get my CM ace ready in 50 runs, it's going to take you 200. So there's a real, genuine power level benefit to coming with all of the good skills, right? Because this game, at the end of the day, it's not just the races itself. Building your Uma as well is entirely a game of RNG. Now, we build correctly, and we try to pick strong strategies, and we pull for the right cards, and we construct our decks. All of this is in favor of tightening that RNG and making it more likely that things go our way, right? But at the end of the day, when you click start career, it's entirely RNG. There's decision making, right? You can have good decision making as well, right? To make sure that, when handed the luck, you don't squander it. But at the end of the day, there is this nebulous thing that is entirely out of your hands as to whether or not you get at least, a high roll Uma. You can get if you build well enough, or if your cards are just good enough, or if your decision making is good enough and your cards are passable enough, you can get like a passable Uma with consistency, right? Like over half the time, over 70% of the time, depending on the CM and the race and the position that you're doing and how much, how hard you're forcing your Oshi or something like that. But to get your high roll Uma, which is the thing that's going to like consistently be winning you the like CM races, right? If you're trying to sweat and you're trying to, win rate max, right? That same guy might just go, why the fuck do I care that she has groundwork? I already have my groundwork parents farmed. It matters. It matters, right? Time, RNG, limiting, like, if you think of it as like her coming with groundwork and concentration and a green, right? This just means that this is almost like you having better support cards, right? This is almost like you playing better throughout your run. This is all, like, it's extra things that are going to limit the amount of times you have to fucking bang your head into the wall until you get a high roll Valentine Bourbon. So I think there's a real power level bonus to her just having the shit built in. It's not just, for fake front mains who don't want to do the grind, you can now build your easy baby mode frontrunner. This is true, right? I mean, fuck, I at the very beginning of the game, I mean, I was always going to be a pace late player because that's Ogre's 2 aptitudes, right? But for a second, I was like, man, fronts are pretty good. And I just thought about the groundwork farming, and I decided I don't want to do that ever, right? I was never going to build fronts next to Ogre. So like, if a guy like me was ever like, I'll build a front runner, which I don't think will ever happen, but if it did happen, it would be Valentine Bourbon. But also, if you are like a dedicated front sweat grinder, right? If you are like a dedicated front, like I do all the shit, I farmed all my groundwork parents, I've put in all the work, this horse is still stronger. In fact, it's especially stronger for you because you're the guy who probably cares about making the high roll front runner and not just the passable Uma for the CM. This consistency is a genuine power level advantage over other less consistent Uma, right? It matters. It's not a quality of life thing. It is a literal, this is a better, like, if you think of the game as like your input is the deck you build and your decision making and the role that you choose to play and the strategy that you build towards and the stat goals you hit and the Uma you bring in to the game, right? Like, you are just like and the output is how good the run is, right? By just bringing a horse that is better, that has all the shit built in, you just remove one of those factors of RNG, right? And you make it much more consistent. It's the exact same parallel as like having a 1LB fine motion versus an MLB fine motion, right? Or having like having a card that gives you this hint versus having to gamble it off of the scenario, or you know, being bad about your trading decisions versus being good about your trading decisions, or even getting good tradings versus getting bad tradings. All of those things, it's the same magnitude as just like, oh yeah, I just come with all the skills I need out of the fucking box, right? It might be bigger than all of those things, honestly. Like as the meta progresses as well, skill RNG, you might notice it, every single fucking CM, it gets more and more and more and more important what skills you have. It gets less and less and less important your stat thresholds, right? They still matter, obviously. And with Mant, to my understanding, this is going to essentially, we're going to take a big step in a direction that we will never come back from, right? The skills that you have are just more important past a certain threshold of like competence. The skills you have are just more important than the stats you hit. So, coming with all the fucking skills that you might want, or at least like half the skills that you might want, very good, right? Very good. Code Icing, Valentine Bourbon. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here, and we're gonna go get robbed in our CM finals, and then we'll talk some Aquarius. But like consistency buffs, do not sleep on consistency buffs. Good luck on finals. We'll see. Yeah, this Ogre had like a 35% win rate, and then I had a really bad day 2 of round 2. So she dropped down to 27, which was kind of rough, right? She wasn't racing all the way from the start though. It's 16 out of 60. But this I think is the strongest horse I've ever brought into a CM. Now, I guess you could say she could have Sprint S. But like, I think I got, like, this is the strongest horse I've ever brought into a CM in the CM, where it's almost like the strength level of the horse you bring matters the least that it's ever had, unfortunately. Though, on the bright side, she did give me it was a very stress-free round 1 and 2, you know? There was never a question of, like, am I getting into Group A finals? It just happened basically on my first try for both rounds. But she could also very easily just shit her pants and lose horrendously in finals. We'll see. The Bakshi, honestly, this one is new, right? You can see she's only run 10 races. There was this one who I brought into 70, and I brought her accidentally. This is not the ace I built. This is the parent I was running. I was wondering, I was like, why is my Bakshin so ass? Why is she never winning? I literally picked the wrong one for 90% of the CM. Do you see this? My win rate could be a lot higher. This is not, like, this Bakshin was built, like, this, I mean, she's got some stuff, but she was not the one I wanted to bring in. So she lost most of her races, but she has since been, like, this one is performing all right. I mean, 2 out of 10, I guess, right? Very, very consistent top 3 rate, I suppose. And then this Air Groove is also, I mean, this Air Groove, I just kind of did one run, and I liked her well enough, and I brought her in, right? I did not really grind a lot on this Air Groove to get, like, a better one, but, I mean, she's been performing quite well. She has the potential to hit a lot of speed. The races that she wins tend to be the ones she can hit a lot of speed carryover on that final corner. Like, I've seen her hit, like, her ult into, like, Shadow Break, Outer Swell, Ramp Up, or something like that, all right before the late race starts, and then she tends to shoo, right? But otherwise, she is much more Gamba, because the only acceleration she really has to rely on is on your left. And while that's good, right, but it's still, half the time, it's not going to be race winning by itself, at the very least, right? Probably by itself, probably over half the time. You, on the other hand, the reason you've been performing much better is you've got on your left, and you've got Ignited Spirit Power, and you've got your ult, and you've got NSM just to Gamba a little bit more too, right? She's weaker in the mid game than Air Groove, though, right? She can run into, she has sprint corners, and it's on, and curvature, but there have been most of the races that she loses are ones where she just kind of she never gets lucky on the width check, right? She never gets lucky on the width check, because usually most of the games I've been in, I've been the only 2 lates. My Air Groove and my Christmas Ogre have been the only 2 late surgers. Sometimes there's one other one. There was one in round 2 with that 5, which was funny. But basically, she kind of is relying on passing that width check early, or proccing sprint corners or curvature early, passing Air Groove, and then hitting It's On. If she does that, right, she tends to do pretty well. If she's in, like, 6th-ish, around when the late race starts, I'm relatively confident in her, as long as she doesn't just, like, miss her ult or something like that. But it is rather, it is rather fragile. Her mid-race can be very good, but it's very fragile. It relies on being able to proc It's On somewhat early, or at least at a good time, right? Because if we're the only 2 lates in the lobby, Air Groove has better mid-race than she does. If she can't get lucky on some of those downhills early, if Christmas Ogre can't get lucky on some of those downhills early, Air Groove will just leave her behind, and then she's just stuck in 9th forever. Sprint corners and curvature, I mean, sprint corners, curvature, and it's on is already like a little finicky, right? But without it's on, she just gets left behind. And then sometimes she'll go, you know, from 9th, she'll hit fucking NSM into on your left, into her ult at a perfect timing, into Ignited Spirit Power, and damn near win anyway. But you basically have to hit the nuts for her to get that. Like, she has the potential to have like over 1 acceleration from her skills. But if she gets stuck in 9th like that, she does just have to hit like the full late surge or high roll to compete. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. Hopefully that doesn't happen here. Hopefully her mid-race goes decent. Looks like no other lates, right? Yeah. This has been very common for me. This has been very common, where I've been the only 2 late surgers. Pasa Gulp, yep. And I'm not really playing into stopping Pasa very much. Luckily, there is a front runner here. I assume that's not the Pasa, yes? It is not the Pasa. Spooky Pasa, I mean, for sure, right? Oh, spooky ass Pasa. But I mean, again, if she doesn't hit her ult, she's not going to be that spooky, right? She could hit Rushing Gale, I guess, right? She could hit Rushing Gale into nonsense, but I mean, if she doesn't end up in 2nd, she's probably going to lose. The Falco on, I mean, the Falco's not. Oh, Turf S Sprint S, interesting. Yeah, you don't got any of that. Yeah, you're the front, huh? We'll see. Check the match history? What the fuck? How do you do that? How do you check the match history? You can do that? The green book? Haran-chan. Yeah, my Ogre had a really bad round 2, day 2. He got kind of cooked. By the way, though, right? I do want to point out. I say she had a bad day. Look at this. This is 4th on a 107.2. You know what I like? I think I have more of I had some really scary lobbies on route. Like this is. Look at this race, right? I feel like a 107.2 is pretty good. She got 4th in this race. Where am I looking? Looking at the Pasa. 16% win rate. I mean, yeah, tracks. Again, Pasa, if Pasa hits, she's gonna hit, right? The Smart Falcon has been cooking, actually. 36% win rate on this CM is real high, right? That's, yeah. Sprint is all RNG. I want a 110 because no one hit shit. I don't think I've seen a 110. Yeah, that Falcon is probably the scarier one, honestly. Just because she's gonna hit, like, it's gonna be hard to stop her from hitting what she wants to hit as the only front. It's gonna be a matter, basically, of... I mean, if she frauds out on Rushing Gale, that could help, right? That she only really has Plancha and her own ult. We'll probably love to see her pop Rushing Gale right away. He's hit a crazy chain. I mean, the Ogre's got it in her, but certainly, if that Falco has a good race, it's gonna be a tough one. We'll see though. We'll see. Late start is no good because again, we need to pass Air Groove in the mid race. We need a couple lucky downhill rolls here now on Ogre. Sprint her activating, like unironically, we want Air Groove to have a bit of a bad time. Okay, that's good. We actually did pass her. We did pass her, so that's good. We now like Ogre is and curvature chain right after it as well. Ogre's kind of having a good mid race. Don't go too far ahead though. We need you to pop on your left and shit. Wait, did she miss a recovery? Did she miss corner recovery? Oh, don't tell me she missed her ult. That's gonna fucking kill me. I think she missed her ult, man. Oh my god, she missed her ult, man! I mean, what can you do about that? Bakshin's gonna get me seconds. Dude, did you see that? Oh. Did you see this Ogre coming? Did you see this Ogre coming 3rd without her ult, by the way? Man. That is... I mean, when I tell you this is the strongest horse I've ever brought into the CM, right? You get a single ult proc? No, I didn't. This is not a very good run that won too, right? Whew, honestly, I'll take it. I'll take it. I mean, 2nd and 3rd, Air Groove did not have a... Oh my god, Air Groove did not have... What happened to you, girl? Oh no. Yeah, the Smart Falcon just kind of frauded out. What happened? I assume she missed, Did she get caught up too? Did she not pop her ult? I was looking at the back half of the pack. What happened to her? Was anyone paying attention? Late started? Did she just get caught? Because I imagine even if she just pops her ult and plancha, she should be fine. She might have gotten caught. Think early ult proc is the late start? Oh, she can do that on this track. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Dude, again, this wasn't a very good run, to be fair. Like, the current that, like, 107.8 is fine. This is, like, no one really hit their shit, right? But do you see what I'm talking about with this Ogre? Never let people tell you late surgers can't do it, man. This was not luck. This is not a lucky run, right? Like, she hit NSM after it mattered. She only got on your left. Her mid-race was lucky. She had a good chain of mid-race skills. That actually does matter. But she late started, and she missed her ult. And she ran like a, this is what, like a 108, probably like 108.5 or something like that? This is literally Kaibutsu, man. This is the Ashen Beast right here. This Ogre has been insane throughout this CM. The fraudest thing about her is her mid-race, yeah? Like, all of the runs, like, basically all the races that she lost by and large, were either this close, or, again, it was just her mid-race. She just had, like, an Air Groove style. Like, this is the main thing here. Is, like, what happened to Air Groove here, where Air Groove just got unlucky on her procs and then died. That has happened to the Ogre before, but, very proud of her, honestly. That was a great, like, considering the fact that she missed, like, her RNG was not good, I cannot believe she did that well. I'll take second, honestly. Second and obviously second and third still means second overall. Shout out to Bakshin, by the way. I know I'm biased, obviously. I'm heaping all this praise on Ogre. This Bakshin, again, I brought. Oh my god, this is the parents Bakshin. I brought the wrong one again. She got second. Did she have perfect turbo? Was that what you guys were talking about? Did she have perfect turbo? Is that why she did so well? Near perfect? I see. Okay. Yeah, this one is not good, right? She did hit a great turbo. This one is I mean, her power is just way too low, I think. But hey, she did well. Congrats, like, you know, shout out. She would have gotten us. Ogre would have collected the second regardless. But I'll still take Bakshin. I mean, literally a Bakshin that doesn't belong here. I mean, this shows you sprint CM too, right? This Bakshin beating this Ogre is nuts. But you had a really lucky run, and you had a really unlucky run. Yeah. I think Hex and VC had a frame perfect turbo on one with a 106.7. I think 106. I think the best run that I noticed, I was sometimes just like slamming the skip button and moving forward. The best run that I noticed is this Ogre, I think, ran a 106.8 or 9. I think. I mean, the technical ceiling of this Ogre is also crazy, right? Like, but obviously it's just too many things. If you hit like a perfect, like you hit the ult, you hit small breather at a good time, and on your left, and you get NSM and ignited spirit power, she's gonna run like a 105 or something. But it's way too many things. Like, the odds of that happening is less than probably 1%, genuinely, right? To be in that position and then hit all of those things. But you need 7 fronts with like Giga mid game to hit 106. You like 106 flat? 106 flat would I don't think I've seen that, but does the game keep track of your best? Like, is that history in there somewhere? Does the game keep track of your best time in a CM? Honestly, pat. Shout out Ogre Cap. Yeah, she ran. Oh wait, no, this isn't the finals. Where's the? Can I not see? Like, I want to tell what the times were for the not winning racers. Like, I know a length is like half a second, right? Well, no, it's less, because you run about 25 meters per second, and a length is 2.5 meters. It's a tenth of a second, right? This is like a 107.9 or a 108, and this is like a 108 or like a 108.1 or something. Dude, she ran a 108.1 without her ult. That's I love my daughter, man. Holy shit, she's a monster. We take second. Honestly, the sprint CM, again, sprint CM finals is a complete fucking crapshoot. The fact that she got pretty bad RNG and still did that well, that's head pats all around, honestly. And shout out Bakshin as well. Again, I abused this Bakshin. This Bakshin is not meant for the CM, and I brought her into 74 races, and she won 4 of them, right? But she showed up. She showed up for finals, right? If Ogre had gotten a little bit worse luck on that on your left, Bakshin would have been like the sole reason we secured second. So, right? Shout out to the abused Bakshin. Right? She deadass almost won. Yeah, I mean, she got like, I think that is the best she can do. To be like, I think that is close to the best she can do. Right? Is hitting that run that she just hit, like a 108 or something. And the lobby was weak enough. Like, no one really hit anything crazy there, right? That's another part of the reason that Ogre was able to do so well despite, what's it called? Despite not really having that good of a time, is that no one really hit their nuts. And I feel like the late surger basement is definitely the lowest in this CM. I mean, between late spaces and fronts anyway. I don't know if ends are a real thing. I don't think I saw a single one the whole CM. I'm sure someone was running it, right? But I think, like, straightaway spurt being 0.9 seconds of Excel here doesn't matter, essentially. Me? Yep. I know you were running Hichi, but between late spaces and fronts, I think the late surger basement is definitely the worst. Because the late surger basement is what just happened to Air Groove. You fuck up your mid game and you're just, like, 5 lengths behind by the time the late race rolls around, and even if you hit your nuts, you don't get there. But I think, like, the midline for a late surger is probably the highest of the 3. Like, if you just get, like, a decent run, lates, I think, do just, like, you just coefficient mog, essentially. If everyone hits, like, 1 Excel and, like, no one gets the nuts, you will generally do very well on a late. They also have the highest ceiling, of course, but it's also the least likely ceiling to actually occur. I'll take second, man. I'll take fucking second. This is a very fun CM, honestly. Very fun CM. Now, cursed, yes, but something about the sheer... maybe I wouldn't be saying this if I got RNG'd out of fucking getting to Group A finals by just horrible luck. But something about just, like, the sheer chaos of it. Like, the fact that Bakshin almost won, man. Right? Late's become the most consistent, scarily enough, in, like, 4 to 6 months. Why? Is that when On Your Left gets buffed? By the way, I can now say this officially, because this is the first CM where I was really keeping an eye on this, right? Because we had a discussion about On Your Left with Nice Nature before I pulled her. They got a guaranteed perfect Excel. Ooh. We were talking about this with On Your Left with Nice Nature before we pulled on her, and I was saying that this is an opinion that I'd heard, and then I liked it a lot. And the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Is that what On Your Left is a contingency, right? It's a contingency. Because, you know what? Even in a sprint CM here, where the late race is the shortest and you have the least time to coefficient mog people, right? If a late surger enters the late race and they're, like, in third, they've probably already won. Yeah? Like, it's like, you have the best acceleration coefficient, and, I mean, if you're, like, if a late surger enters the late race in third, the only person who is feasibly beating them is another late surger or an end closer, right? I don't think I had some situations where, like, Air Groove had a very good mid game. I had some situations where she was, like, second or third in the mid race, and it's like, you know, people are, like, popping Inherited Plancha, and it doesn't matter. She's, like, still outrunning them without On Your Left, and no other excels. So I feel like I can say with confidence, On Your Left is, especially once it gets buffed, a good skill, because what it is it's a contingency plan, right? The weakness inherent to your strategy is sometimes you just, you know, you start further behind, and you know, sometimes your mid-race is going to go poorly. On Your Left is a really powerful acceleration that just lets you get back in the game when that happens, right? The fact that it doesn't proc when you are, like, fourth or third out of the mid-race doesn't really matter, because odds are if you have anything else and you're third or fourth out of the mid-race as a late surger, you probably just won, right? With the exception of maybe if the horse in first is like actual Saiyan Sky popping her ult on a track where Angling and Scheming works or something like that. So I'm a big fan of On Your Left, basically. Once it gets buffed, especially, but I think the position requirement on it is kind of a... I mean, obviously, would it be better if it worked just whenever in the late race and it was locked to late surge or something? Yeah, duh. It would be, it'd be broken if you could be second and pop On Your Left. But I feel like the position requirement is a bit of a false positive, right? It's a bit of a red herring. Because you only need it. It's there when you need it. And when you can't get it, you don't need it. The problem with On Your Left is not the position requirement, obviously. It's the RNG. It's the fact that sometimes it activates at, like, the end of the late race and you get nothing out of it whatsoever. But that part gets significantly fixed in the future, right? All that to say, I definitely do not regret my Nice Nature pulls. I'll tell you that for free. And now we can finally get... We can get to 20... what's it called with this, right? Actually, thoughts. Thoughts. I have two SR uncapped crystals. On your left is a crapshoot for longer tracks. Yes, yeah. Once it gets, like, I think, again, I hold to this day, for this sprint CM, for Capricorn, I think the two best accelerations were head-on and on your left. And I think they were equally good. Head-on was more consistent, but weaker. On your left was less consistent, but like twice as good, right? On your left was amazing in the sprint CM because it essentially didn't really matter. Like, 70% of the late race was still a good time for it to pop. Every now and then it was complete ass. But sometimes it was straight game winning if it popped right away. And most of the time it was just a really good excel, right? Ignited power somewhere up there, but a bitch to get. Yeah, I got that off a parent inheritance on that Christmas Ogre, and it really helps, especially in the races where on your left fails you, right? Or ignited power is awesome if you have a late, like sometimes I had my Christmas Ogre, there was like one race where this happened because her mid race is not very good, but she just rolled nuts on the downhills and also chained perfectly in the mid, like her PDM. Like she got like it's on right away and then chained that into a bunch of speed skills. And she ended up in third in the late race. She won that race by like 5 lengths, but she also hit ignited spirit power while she was doing that shit. It was very nice. I think that might have been the 106.7 actually. That might have been the 106.7 that she ran. I have 2 SR uncapped crystals. What should I use them on? I feel like nothing urgently. But, like, I have some interesting candidates. Hold? Save for Admire Vega SR. Or Vega Guts. That's the one on the NTR banner, right? I don't know if I don't think I'm going to pull on the NTR banner. What does she do? Why do we fuck with her so much? It's just, is it a lot of race bonus? Oh, I have it here. Admire. Show upcoming. This one? 15% race bonus with speed and power bonus? Ah, on a guts card, right? I see. The what banner? Yeah. I love NTR. Ah. NTR and AV on the same banner together? I mean, I've seen it before, I guess. It's better than SSRs? I see. Right? Because a guts card with speed and power bonus. A guts card with speed and power, and guts is the high friendship bonus as well, right? Guts is kind of the is it true that guts is the meta for Mant? Am I correct in saying that the reason this is true is because you don't train quite as much, so when you train, you want to get the most stats out of it? It's free to play friendly? It's an option, okay. As someone doesn't know anything about Uma Musume, I thought this is just about horse girl racing. I mean, it is, but it's serious shit, man. Whales will still 2 speed, 2 guts, 2 wit or some shit. Is the reason then, that makes sense. Is the reason that it's free to play friendly because you get limited turns to click training and you just have to get, you have items that can really juice it? I see. So you have items that can, so you want to make each click count as much as possible. And guts is the one that just gives you the most bang for your buck, right? Guts isn't a bad stat. It's like a fine stat at this point. And it gives you both speed and power, which are like 2 premium stats, yeah? So you can presumably get a lot out of it there. I do wonder, free to play friendly because Guts Haru, Guts Yukino. Yeah, I do wonder, the Guts cards are cheap and just good too. Yeah, because I would think, why not just click speed training then? Because Guts, while good, I don't care about it most of the time, and speed will give me more speed than about the same amount of power, no? Like, what's the, like, if I'm gonna juice up a training to get, like, triple the fucking outcome from it or something, why wouldn't I just click speed then? Is it because it's just harder to make, but race bonus is king, so it's hard? So the problem is you need to put together, to my understanding, at least 50% race bonus. You would love if you could get, like, 700%, then awesome. But, like, you need to put together at least 50% race bonus, and, I mean, cards like this are just gonna make it way easier. Is this right? Is this true? 50 race bonus is absolute minimum? Yeah. And it's just hard to do that without, it's hard to do that without a lot of the Guts cards have a lot, don't they? I think Haru has 10, doesn't she? You reroll the trainings until they all line up, then scream at your trainee while you put weights on them to make them drink the nasty veggie juice. Yeah. Rather run a gimped deck with 50 than a good deck at 35? Yeah. So is it then correct to say that if you have high enough LBs on your cards, or just like the right combo of cards or whatever, to get 50 or higher race bonus without running any Guts cards, would you not do it? Or is there still a value in the Guts cards, excluding just the fact that a lot of them come with a lot of race bonus? Like, say I could make a 50 race bonus deck with, like, Like, say I've got, like, fucking Your Ass MLB, and I've got, like, Nice Nature MLB, and most cards don't have enough RB. You're forced to run Guts or Power. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know what stats look like, how exactly stat targets work in Mant. But, like, that doesn't seem quite right to me, right? Kitasan is 5 race bonus? Yeah, Kitasan is the example, yes? Like, I think about, like, I don't know, fucking Marvelous Sunday SR or something, right? I typed ramp up because that's what she gives you. That's my bad. Like, Your Ass is 10 race bonus, right? Like, Your Ass is 10 race bonus? No? Like, I mean, if you're a late surger head like myself, whether you're borrowing her or using her, you're 15. Right? Like, these 3 are already 35. Like, I don't, maybe like 2 speed, 4 wit is not a good deck in Mant, like it is in Alharu. I don't know the mechanics, right? Like, maybe because you're not clicking that much, wit isn't as useful or something. But I would imagine no, considering skill points seem to really be a big deal. But if you can't run, if wit cards are not good in Mant, then I get it, right? Because I feel like most of the race bonus that I think of in my head is coming from wit cards. Wit cards tend to have really good race bonus on them, right? Wit is still good, yeah. But one has to be NTR or Fuku at least. I mean, say you want to bring Kitasan because he's just a good-ass speed card, right? So there's 5. So in 5 slots, you have to make up at least 45, right? I mean, in my case, I'm lucky because I can, like, borrow probably an MLBU and, like, I'll have MLBU by the time the story event ends, right? In my case, at least, I can go 5, 15, 30, 40, right? You also have to consider cards for skills. Yeah, wit cards tend to be better for that shit, too. Right? That's why I'm saying, like, that's why I'm missing the train on the Guts a little bit. Like, Your Ass has, like, ramp up and tail held high and the fucking other one, too. You have, like, 3 really good skills. Right? You have good skill hints, which I'm bringing you with bad race bonus, but I can make up for it. I mean, if you're a late surger, you're, like, exactly what I fucking need. Stacking race bonus somewhere lets you get away with lower race bonus? I get it. I understand. I think in my particular case, I don't think I'm super interested in the Guts cards, but I need to... I would need to look at more at what Mant actually looks like, especially once it comes out and I can play around with it to make that decision. Because, like, if I'm imagining building my average late surger or pace chaser deck, I feel like I can get away without having to just bring a Guts card because it has high race bonus. If that's the main reason you bring Guts cards, is because they just tend to be a good combo of race bonus, skills, and stats. Yeah? I guess speed, like, what... That one important question is, like, what speed SRs have a good amount of race bonus? You don't have Fuku? No. I guess I'll probably be... probably my borrow will be Fuku instead of Find Mo, right? Like, I'll probably be bringing... Probably borrowing you. Because you come with the 10 race bonus and all this shit, which I've been told is quite nice. Hello, streamer? Hello, Edom. Actually, speed SRs are kind of fucked for RB. Like, what are you? Yeah, you're 5. That's not going to be... I mean... Hypothetically, like, say we construct a deck in our head right now. You're 5, you're 15, which I can, luckily, I can bring you because I will have you MLB, right? You're 10. We have 6 total, right? If I'm bringing another 2 wit cards, and I'm bringing Agnes Tachyon and Marvelous Sunday, we're at 50 already. So the fact that you only give me 5, you get me to 55, right? But honestly, it's also 3 speed, 3 wit. If I'm bringing more, like, I don't know if that's good. I'm probably, depending if I'm maybe building an end closer or something. You overcap speed in this case? I mean, I imagine you fucking overcap everything, right? Like, I imagine even, like, you probably overcap, like, 2 speed, 4 wit. You know, you don't necessarily cap wit every time. In Alharu, I imagine you do in Mant, right? Especially for running, like, a 20% speed growth. Shinko Windy over Tosho? I mean, it's more like, if I'm bringing Kitsan Black and borrowing you, I'm probably not bringing another speed SR at all, right? Wait, why would Shinko Windy solve the overcapping speed problem? No? Like, she has better race bonus, but if anything, you're probably a better speed stat stick, too. The main, like, Tosho would just give us more skill points, right? Just more RB? Yeah, but I mean, again, if I'm imagining this deck in my head, which would be, like, the deck that I would run for, like, a late Surger Ogre on most tracks, probably, it would be, like, KSB for 5, you for 15, you for 10, you and Marvelous Sunday for 10 more each. We're at 50 with a slot to spare, right? So at that point, it's like, I mean, this would get me to 60, I guess, which I'm sure is great. Like, I mean, I bet you that might be something I'm interested in. But it's more a matter of, like, I'd probably bring a 4th wit card. Yeah? SSR Sunday, maybe? The power card, right? She has 15. No. Which... Is it you? It's not you, is it? If you need more race bonus? I think you're not hearing me. That's not the problem. My problem is actually, it's more like... it's just kind of weird. It's like almost it's like borrowing you makes things awkward for me because it means I have to... You're filtering speed? Oh, thank you. Yeah, this card is 15, right? Yeah. Like I can imagine like a base skeleton for a deck that gets me to 50 race bonus with a slot to spare. The race bonus doesn't matter. It's more that it's honestly borrowing you. Borrowing you makes things awkward because I mean, I guess I would usually have like I have to find 4 good wit cards myself, and I guess I could usually find that. Like it'll be Nice Nature, Tachyon, Sunday, and then like I mean like Fuji Kaseki maybe. And the problem is my Find Mo is only 0 LB. Right, so she's like, if I'm not borrowing Find Mo, I mean, I feel like Find Mo is a little, but I think it's a little, the you must have MLB Find Mo or perish agenda, I think is a little bit, overblown, by the way. I feel like, you know, let's ignore, I mean, we can look at 0 LB, right? But I feel like she's not that much better at, like, besides the race bonus, yes? But again, if we're talking, like, I'm already good on the race bonus, I feel like she's not that much better at, like, MLB than she is at 1 LB, no? I guess the race bonus keeps going up, but, like, this card is almost, I mean, mood effect, I guess. 3 LB is workable for Find Mo. 1 LB is workable for Find Mo. Am I missing something? I mean, our priority is ass the whole way through, right? This card is a set, like, 35 is nothing. Like, I'm not going to jump out of my chair for 35, right? She gets the wit bonus here, and her friendship bonus is high the entire way through. Her friendship bonus is really high at 0 LB, right? She doesn't get any more initial friendship gauge. She gets slightly more initial wits. The race bonus is the big one for sure, because this will help you hit, like, a man's breakpoint. But, like, yeah. If everything else, then 1 LB is fine. Yeah. I mean, I will be rolling on the Summer Maru Find Mo banner, even though I'm not a front player. Again, I think we've talked about it before, but I think Summer Maru is just like, she's just a little too good, man. Right? It is a little too good as a stat stick, I think, with that fucking unique that she's got. Like, even if you don't, like, if you want the skills on her, congratulations, you fucking hit the lottery. This card is nuts, right? But yeah, to be fair, I guess the hints are pretty, like, the hints are very, all over the place, right? But she will give you at least what is Top Runner? The fuck is Top Runner? Leader's Pride Gold, gotcha. Yeah. Her events are good. I guess her hints are probably, like, very all over the place. Like, I'm not even sure how good this is. Like, as a stat stick, this card is just kind of nutty, no? Problem is that Find Mo is, like, 3 months before the next Giga Wit comes out on S-Maru Find Mo rerun. Yeah, and we've talked about this before, right? But, like, it doesn't matter. Until Find Mo is not, like, the 3rd or 4th best wit card that you can bring, it doesn't matter if someone's better, right? Now, my understanding is, at some point, I saw a deck from, like, relatively recently in JP that had, like, 1 of every stat. I'm not sure, like, a PAL card, a wit card, a strength, a power card, a speed card, a guts card, and a stam card. If at any point you only ever end up running 1 of every card, that matters. But, like, as of right now, if I pull on Find Mo, first off, 3 months is, like, quite a while, right? But, like, if I pull on Find Mo and, like, another card comes out that's, like, strictly better, guess what? I'll run both of them. Right? Like, right? I mean, at least in the meta that we're currently in, a lot of my fucking runs are 2 speed, 4 wit, you know? Or, like, 2 speed, 3 wit Rico, or something like that, right? 2 speed, 3 wit in the PAL card. If, like, another good wit card comes out that's better than Find Mo, you just run both. It takes a long time, in the current meta that we're in, especially for a wit card, to power creep it. Yeah? If you're, like, a power card or a stam card or something, if one, like, you're basically never, I mean, even right now, and I imagine it's going to get even more so as we go down, but for, like, a stam card, you're essentially never putting in more than 1 into your deck. Maybe 2 once Rico's gone, if the, what's-her-face is not as good at, if Light Hello is not as good as giving stamina or something. I forget when stat caps increase, that's also an issue. I mean, I assume for a while there, that's going to pull you back into multi-stacking things like speed and wit and shit like that, right? But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm necessarily worried about the Summer Maru Fine Motion banner. Just seems really good. Like, both of the cards on it are amazing, right? This seems like one of the best. I mean, priority's low for sure, right? But like, it's still like 35 is low. I mean, 5 miles the same. A lot of the wit cards have the same. It's low. It's not horrible, but it's low. Right, the difference between 0 and 35 is a lot bigger than the difference between 35 and 70, because it's 1 over X scaling, right? So it kind of peters off as you go. But like, this card is just, I mean, 25 TE at the end game, which is when you need it the most, right, or when it matters the most, is a really big deal, right? Exactly, like, she rainbows on every stat. Yeah, it's a great way to put it. And she comes with a speed and a power bonus, right? and relatively high, like, I mean, not high, but good French. This is the same one that Kitsan Black has, right? It's good. Some mood effect is nice, right? Really high friendship gauge is amazing, right? This card is just nuts. Like, and then, you know, also really good hints if you're a frontrunner player. But this card is so good. I think I'm going to like try and get this card to at least 1 or 2 or LB on the banner she drops with Find Mo, despite not wanting any of the hints on her whatsoever. Like, she's just that good of a stat stick. And then the banner the secondary SSR on the banner she's on is fucking Fine Motion. I don't know how you don't pull on this. I mean, unless you are just carrot starved, right? You're skipping Bourbon, I assume? Yeah, I'm not a front main at all. I don't think I've built a single... I don't think I've done a single run where I was building a front for anything outside of team. No. If I built a front for team trials, I'm sure I have. So, like, you know? Like, I don't know. This banner is nuts. Like, if you're carrot starved, I guess, when it comes up, you might be in a very tough spot of, like, do I pull on this or do I pull on Tachyon Light Hello? But, like, with the global foresight, man, why the fuck aren't you saving carrots for both of those banners, right? You're telling me you don't want to pull on Summer Maru Fine Mo and also try and get, like, you know, with the 100 free pulls on this, try and get, like, a 2 or 3 LB Agnes Tachyon as well? They have fucking 60k for both of these banners, man. Like, are you nuts? These are insane banners. Like, it is very rare in general in this game that we get a banner where both of the SSRs on it are really good. Yes? Even right now, right? Like this... Where is she? This Nishino Flower is it's actually just really good, right? Like, I was surprised. This is just a good-ass card. I mean, it's not insane or anything, but it's a good-ass card. I think someone masked it out and it's just choice in when you spike. What does this mean? What does that mean? What is it and what is it and what is it actually? Too many it's. Power spike in card strength. Relative to the field, do you mean? When to roll on banners? Yes, okay. I mean, yeah, if you roll on banners when other people aren't, you will be stronger, but the banners you roll on matter as well, yes? Like, if you putting 60k into this banner is not going to be as fruitful as putting 60k into a better banner, you know? Putting 60k into, like, the, I don't know, fucking, I mean, Kitasan Black's a horrible example, so let me pick a slightly worse banner than that. But if you pick, like, a banner with good cards on it and roll there, you're going to get a bigger spike than just rolling earlier to power spike earlier, right? I don't think you need math to figure that one out. Like, that's just basic logic, right? If someone is saving their carrots and you are rolling, even if the card you're getting isn't that good, you will have more cards and better cards than they will. But that's like a default for pulling all of the time, right? Like, that's how like, I'm a little confused by the statement, no, because like that's how pulling works. When you pull, your account gets better, in general. Yes? It's just what you pull on that matters for how much your account gets better, or again, in this case I'm talking about right here, how likely it is your account gets better. You can put 60k into this banner and not get a single SMR outside of pity. That's why it's very nice when both of the featured SSRs are good, right? This Nishino Flower seems pretty good. This Bakshin is a guts card. I assume I don't care about her very much, right? I don't know what the fuck In High Spirits is. But it's very common that you'll have banner with a really good card and some garbage that is going to make you sad when you pull it, right? I mean, listen, no disrespect to Satono Diamond, to Dia-Chen, but like the Kitasan Black banner is probably the best example of this, right? Satono Diamond is a good stamina card. She is, right? She's a good stam card, but like that happens very often. You have one card that is like the god of the game, and you have another card that is basically there just to spook you when you get your featured unit, and you go, they even made the art similar. They knew what they were doing, right? Yeah, Fine Mo, and then Kawakami Princess, right? It's very, like, almost every banner we've had so far, right, is like one really good support card and then some garbage. No, this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the timeline. Thank you. Right, like that's kind of just been the case the entire time. Yes. I don't know. Every time someone tells me to save for the Giga double banner instead of the first banner, it seems terrible. Someone dropped 60k on Riko Tazuna. I mean, I don't know why. Yeah, right. If you want to pull, I know Summer Maru does come out first, right? Like if I remember correctly, she comes out on her own banner with. Who is that? Is that Sirius Symboli? That's Sirius Symboli, right? and then later she comes out with Find Mo, right? Like this is like 2 months apart, probably month and a half apart. I mean, if you're desperate for Summer Maru, you should get her. To me, I'm like, I mean, she's a really good speed card. Maru has like 20 billion reruns. Yeah. Like, she's a really good card, but like, if you like don't have a second good speed card or something, then valid, I guess. But like, you know, the reason that this banner is good is because both of the cards here are amazing. Yeah. I mean, Fine Motion has been, we just literally said, Fine Motion Kawakami Princess. That card was awesome. Like, especially when Kawakami, like, when that banner happened, that was an insane time to have an MLB Fine Motion if you could manage it. But the other card there is not very good, right? Like, the reason I like double banners is basically because if you're a free-to-play player, if you are going to do everything in your power to not pull out Viva San Black, right, it's going to be very important that you can try and actually get bang for your buck. If you get lucky, awesome. Right? You can get lucky and MLB her in a single 10 pull. It's mathematically possible, right? But you have to hedge against, you have to try and hedge your bets. And I mean, no, sometimes, right? Sometimes it's worth it. And I don't think you're crazy for pulling on this necessarily. But for me, I'm like, I mean, I don't remember this other card. But like, the fact that I don't makes me think that I looked at it and was not very impressed, right? But like, you know, if you want to pull on this, I don't think it's crazy. But it's not the kind of Uma Musume's gacha system is incredibly unfriendly to players, right? Now, you could say the devs give out a ton of free currency and the game itself is relatively free-to-play friendly, maybe, right? I think so. I mean, as a free-to-play player, I have not felt a sting at all yet. I've never noticed that I'm free-to-play, really. Maybe I'm just used to Dokkan where I pull once a year. But, like, the reason the game might be free-to-play friendly is not because of how the gacha system works, right? Like, Pity not carrying over, 200 pulls for Pity is already higher than some things go with, right? Like, the rates are fine, I guess. Some games certainly have better rates. Some games have worse rates, right? The gacha system is pretty fucking mean. It's pretty fucking mean. So, I personally like to plan around the gacha system fucking me over. You know? I like to plan around getting fucked over by the gacha. And for that, a double banner where both cards are godlike is really nice. Yes? Oh yeah, the other reason this game is not super free-to-play friendly is that most SSRs are, at the very least, you need 2 copies of them. Basically, every SSR in the game, at the very least, yes, you need 2 of them. That means if you go 30k into Pity, very good. I mean, there's a real chance that you're gonna spend 30k and not get a usable version of the SSR out of it. Most SSRs, I mean, some people will tell you, I mean, we were just talking about people said Find Mo is only workable at 3 LB, right? But at the very least, the gap between 0 and 1 LB on most SSRs is huge. They'll get like a stat bonus or something really big generally there. So if you go 30k in, right, on this banner, there's like a, probably, you can do the math on the probability of like in 200 pulls with a 0.75% chance on every pull, what's like the expected value for how many Marus you pull in that time, and I bet you it's like 1 or something, right? But again, I like to play around the game fucking me over, right? I like to play around, so that's why usually if there's a card that I really want, I like to go in with 60k, not 30k, right? And I like to make sure that it's a banner where both of the cards are ones that I want. At least 1 or 2 copies of. You know what I mean? So, again, if you want to pull on the release banner for Summer Maru, I'm not going to go like, oh, you fucking idiot, what's wrong with you? But the way I play gacha games as a free-to-play player, I play them very risk-intolerant. Maybe it's because I don't have that fucking dog in me. I don't have the Gambit. Oh, it's Nakayama Festa. It is not serious symbolic. It doesn't have the little thing. That's my bad. I apologize. Nothing ventured. So true. Yeah, this card, I remember looking at this card and thinking it wasn't too great, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. It seems like a very gold ship coded card to me. She is wearing the beanie. Yeah. If she had the little white stripe here, I feel like there's a resemblance. No? There's a resemblance between her and, I mean, the ear. If you're like a real Nakayama Festa head, the earpiece is definitely like the accessory is what you would tell it apart by, but I don't even know. I think the only accessories that I know off the top of my head are Mambo and her hat, Ogre obviously with the little blue ring, and Tamamo because she has her thing is a little crossroads. That might be it. Might be the only ones I could name for you off the top of my head. Does Agnes Tachyon have a little, like, donkey earring that goes in her ear? I actually don't know. Hold on. No, she does. She has nothing at all? No, that can't be right. Does she not have, like, an earpiece thingy or something? Regardless, admire Vera SR is an amazing use SR crystals on her if possible. That's valid. The thing is, I don't think I'm going to pull her. Does Tachyon not have an ear accessory? Is it just her little swoosh? OG Bourbon? Is that the one with the, No, I'm thinking, I thought someone had like a gold ring, like it looked like an earring, like a Jenny, like it went in their ear. But maybe I'm misremembering. Yeah, this little blue ring is like the only one that I know off the top of my head, I think. Vodka? Oh, maybe. Air Groove? No, that's not quite what I get. It's gold. But I'm think of like how a human would wear an earring. No, am I making this again? I'm thinking of literally an earring, like not like how a human would wear an earring. Original TMO, is it? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not that. Yes, like this. I think this isn't what I was picturing, but I think this is what I was thinking of. I think I was picturing it looking more circular than normal. But yeah, like the way a human would wear an earring, where it like goes, it like clamps onto their ear, essentially. Tachyon has like the chemical compound accessory. Oh, on her back, right? Isn't it? She has nothing on her ear though. Interesting. But yeah, like this to me, I mean, this Knockout Mephisto card does not seem super good. Maybe I'm wrong. If she's amazing, then yeah, valid, right? But like, if we assume for a second this Knockout Mephisto card is kind of ass, then like this is the kind of banner that me personally, I don't have the risk tolerance for this, right? I don't have the risk tolerance to pull on this kind of banner, unless the card is Kita-san Black. You know what I mean? Like, the only time I would do that, where like one of the SSRs is really good and the other one isn't, is like if it's Kita-san Black. Because Satono Diamond, I have her, I think, at 1 or 2 LB. I've never used her, I think, since I pulled her. Maybe once. She's not bad, but, like, stamina cards are just, you know, it's a tough break when Super Creek exists to run 2 stamina cards. It would have to be that. Like, it would have to be, like, I don't know, like, when does that Pasa come out? Isn't she, like, kind of nutty? Because her skill bonus applies, like, it makes speed actually give you, like, good skill bonus, right? I don't know what this other card that comes out with her. Put it in Hans. Thank you. Let me see. What is Tachyon's accessory? Oh, yeah! You're right! Yes. Pasa's amazing, yeah? Right, exactly. Like, when this card comes out, right? I don't know what this other support card on her banner is. Oh, she's the PAL card! Oh, this is awesome. Okay, well, that's great. Never mind. Yeah. Okay, imagine for a second that, like, this card came out and the other card on the banner was garbage. This might still be the kind of banner that I'm like, okay, maybe I'll pull on this, right? Obviously, yes, in this case, this is awesome, right? It's very nice of them to do this, where they seem to be getting in the habit of pairing these PAL cards. Is this her release? Or is this her, the run back on May here? If they're getting in the habit of this is very nice of them. Because, I mean, Light Hello is on the banner, and then Agnes Tachyon, who is like the first speed card that comes out that is comparable to Kita-san Black, like that, both of those coming out on the same banner is very nice by Cygames, right? Because you just get to go, you just get to target this. Yeah, this banner is also nutty. Like Tachyon again is the first speed card that comes out that I think you could make a reasonable argument is better than Kita-san, and she comes out on a banner with a fucking gross ass PAL card, to my understanding. Yeah. How many LB FIMO you got? 0. So I'm probably not going to be using her very much in Man, to be my guess, unless I'm borrowing her. But I also don't know if I'll be able to justify borrowing her over Madafaka. Because I have none Madafaka as well. As I get a better feel for what Mant actually is and what it needs, I'm sure there will be times where I will want to have an MLB FIMO, and I'll justify that. Or maybe I'll learn that it's never good, but I'd be surprised. Because I have a 3LB Nice Nature right now. I think I'm going to, as soon as I get my Rainbow Crystal out of this, I'm going to spend it on her right away, I think. And then I'll have her MLB going into Mant, and that is going to carry my race bonus very heavily. Like, that's, if you use Guts build, maybe that frees up your borrow slots? Maybe. I was traumatized from running Guts and Alharu. It seemed so bad. But again, I'm gonna try and not... and I understand that it's not good in Alharu. It's good, at least runnable starting in Mant. I get that. But I think it has, like, permanently made me a little scared to put a Guts card in my deck. But we'll see. But yeah, I think, like, MLB and Nice Nature is gonna let me get away running even 2 cards with 5% race bonus pretty guilt-free, right? So I'm definitely gonna do that. On the one hand, that means that I need a Fine Mo in the deck probably a little bit less, because Nice Nature is a very good wit stat stick as well, right? At MLB especially. Her friendship bonus is certainly, I think, a lot lower than Fine Mo, if I remember. Right? Yeah, 25 versus 37.5, which is obviously a really big deal. But she does come with the 2 wit bonus, which is very nice, right? They have the same priority. The 2 wit bonus, I found, like, you noticed this when I used to borrow this card. When this card lands on wit with the 2 wit bonus, yeah, you feel it for sure. Like, raising that base is very nice. In Mant, there's items that give you friendship. That's very interesting. I'm super excited for Mant. I don't want to, like, I fucking want to kill myself. Why is Mant coming? But I don't know. I like this game. So if they're gonna introduce something, like what I'm hearing about Mant is all very exciting to me. Like some paradigm shift for the game where you almost like you just like if you play the scenario well, you just like max your stats at will, damn near. Like you like 1203 stats as long as you learn the scenario and play it well. And then it just like really pivots the meta towards playing the scenario well, right? Which is nice. It feels like there's a progression to that. There's like a slow easing in of like there was skill to playing URA, but there was the least complexity to it, right? Like a lot of it was just the, you know, in fighting game terms, kind of like the base fundies of the video game, right? Of just like how to manage your energy, you know, when a training might be good, when to race, things like that. It's a lot more possible to play Alharu wrong than it is URA, and from what I've heard, that trend will continue with Mant. It's a lot more possible to play Mant wrong than it is to play Alharu wrong. So like if it's like a more skill checking scenario, and then it also kind of paradigm shifts us to, all right, man, what skills you got? Oh, you have 1200 speed, power, and wit. So does everyone else, right? What skills you got though, right? Deck building around race bonus and skills instead of just stat sticking is also it's going to be super different. And the nice part is, to my understanding, when we go to Grand Live, at least like the deck building around the race bonus, that's not a thing anymore. So Mant is just like, for 4 months, the game's going to look like that, and we're going to get something new, right? It really stops it from getting stale to me. So I mean, this is my favorite game literally ever. My favorite video game ever. It's my favorite video game ever, I think. It's crazy to say, because before this it was Elden Ring, and the Souls games were fucking made for me. But somehow, anime horse girl racing has surpassed them all. And I'm very excited for Mant to come out. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. My fundies improved so much over Alharu looking back at my early aces. I'm like a new person. Yeah. So yeah, with that being said, I'm looking forward to Mant and how exactly, like, I'm very big on not taking other people's word for things in this game. When I first started off and I knew nothing, I had to, right? But now that I understand the game on a pretty deep level, at least for my own, from currently, as far as I thought I knew the game pretty well like 6 months ago too, and turns out I was dumb as fuck and I didn't know anything. But, you know, I have enough of a knowledge of the game to be able to learn new things about it and make my own decisions. I am really trying to refrain from listening too much to what other people say is good in Mant. Race bonus just makes sense to me, right? This is a track, like, that one I don't think I need to scrutinize too hard. If it's a scenario where you are racing like fucking 50 times per scenario or something, yeah, the idea that race bonus is really good there sounds... That doesn't, you know, I feel like you don't need to be knowledgeable about the game to put 2 and 2 together there. But everything else that I've heard, everything, yeah, that's actually true, Vane. I think one of the things that has been making me come out with better aces recently, like the Taiki that I just got for Aquarius, I think is quite the high roll that I converted pretty well. And one of the reasons for that is that I raced a lot more than I normally would, and even still, I probably should be racing more. Racing in general, I think, is that's like the next frontier for me as a player, is I have to just learn to race like 3 to 4 more times per career. You know what I mean? Like a lot of races for me right now is like 18. You know, like when I go, oh, I raced quite a lot here. And there's this block in my head of like, I've raced enough. I need to get my stats up, you know? I need to learn that. But my point is, I'm going to wait, play Mant, and figure out that shit myself, or at the very least, wait, like get just a uneditorialized view of just what the mechanics are, and then I can make my own decisions based on that. So, which again is all the more reason that I'm excited to actually get my hands on it, right? All right. Speaking of Aquarius, let's talk about Aquarius, man. I don't know. I've heard people 3 out of 5 chance to get a good stat plus 50 skill points on a race. Yeah, no, racing is very good, right? And 15 energy. It's less energy than every training as well, right? Especially as you go into the late game where your trainings, well, except for wit, obviously. Your trainings scale up in how much energy they cost as you progress, as they level up. Is this shit Tokyo? It's Tokyo 1600 dirt. That's the one? We click bottom option around here, partner. Is it 50-50? Do you know? Yeah? Oh, then it's plus EV, right? Are you sure it's a 50-50 on the bottom option? Not entirely sure. If it's a 50-50, the average energy cost of the bottom option if you win is 12.5, right? Because it will be 20 times 0.5 plus 5. Oh, plus 5 times 0.5, right? So it'll be 12.5 instead of 15. If it's 50-50. So unless obviously in some scenarios you like can't afford the low roll, so you would take the top option. Like maybe that extra 5 energy would put you in a situation where you can't train safely next turn or something. But like if it's a 50-50, then you should default to bottom option. I didn't know that. I always assumed it was like I always assumed that it was more likely to give you the bad outcome. But I never looked into that or tried to back it up with anything, right? We've talked about Aquarius already to some length. But I've heard a lot of people saying that end closers are quite good here. I mean, I believe it. The track is long enough that Spurt is going to last like a meaningful time. It's going to be like over a second of Excel, right? Which is quite nice. And the late race is also just, I mean, it's a lot longer than the Sprint CM at the very least, right? 533 out of 600. I've heard some people saying, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard some people saying that the late race here is like longer than normal, and every time I heard that, I was very like perplexed because I'm like, no, it isn't. The late race is defined. The late race is always 1/6 of the race length. The last spurt is always 1/6 of the race length. The early race is always 1/6, and the mid race is 3/6. Right? Like it's never changed. So I've heard some people saying the late race is longer than normal on this track, and that's just not correct. Yes. However, compared to like the 1200 sprint CM, you do still have, quite a long time to try and coefficient mog someone, I guess, as an end closer. Though not that much, right? 16, like it's not like this is the R McKinnon or something. I don't know. I'm sure you can make an end closer that's very strong, just because, I mean, Spurt is a very good Excel here. It's a very nice, consistent Excel. But I feel like that's not that valuable because a lot of nice, consistent Excels here. And I feel like the big problem is you're going to be playing right into, like, Thanos Shuttle, right? And if there's enough end closers, even, like, what's it called? Even Pasa, right? Though Pasa's going to have a hard time with the fronts. But, if there's enough end closers, Pasa starts to come into play even more, right? So I think it's a bad idea. Seems like a bad idea to a guy like me. Also, racing has a 1 in 5 chance to give you a boot up. Yep. Massive Mant race blurb in the reference document. Did they mention anything about bottom option? I mean, if I know that shit's plus EV, I'm gonna start. I mean, Mant will be the best time to figure that out. The only realistic end is Hichiyama. Yes, wait, they confirm it. Sorry, I know I'm asking the same question multiple times because I keep bouncing between things. It's entirely top-bottom Mant optimization? Whoa, hold up. I love this kind of shit, man. What do you mean? What do you mean? There's a whole fucking 4 paragraphs on this. After winning a race, you have a choice between taking a consistent amount of energy or gambling on less or more. They average out to be the same on average in the long run. Oh, is it 1/3? What? Okay, so it's not a 50-50. Yeah, it's 1/3, 2/3. Yeah. They don't confirm the options? No, they do. Yeah. Meaning the better result is 1/3 and the worse is 2/3. Yeah, that'll make it 15 on average, right? There's some situations where it's optimal to pick one over the... Wait, does that? Well, hold on. That math doesn't seem quite right in my head. Wouldn't that make it worse than the top option? 20 times 0.66666. Oh, no. Yeah, it will. Yeah, because the 5 here will be a lot less. Yeah. Huh. Even this... Wait, what? Oh, wait, what am I doing here? Why is this wrong? Plus. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Comes out to the exact same. That makes sense. For a second, I was like, wait, that doesn't seem right, because the 20 is going to be taking up too much of the real estate there, but no. There are some situations where it's optimal to pick one or the other, though. This is more relevant to the third scenario, and doing 30 plus races in a run is normal. If you race on 0 energy, you can't be punished. Yes, that's true. Thus, if one option has the chance to set you to 0 energy, or the chance to keep you above 0 energy, you should choose accordingly. Hold on. Hold on, huh? If you race on 0 energy, you can't be punished. Oh, you can be punished. Oh, okay. Sorry, my ear itches suddenly. Gotta clear it out like a dog. You can be punished. Yes. Thus, if one option has a chance to set you to 0 energy, you avoid that. Because it's, Oh, we can hear it? Oh, my bad. Sorry. My ear is sweaty from the headset, and now it's itchy, and I'm fucking stroking my shit. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if one option could set you to 0, don't do it. Actually, how does the repeated race penalty work in Mant? I assume it still exists, right? Do you just go race, train? You ignore it? It gets bad when it's 5 or more races, though, doesn't it? That's not just on 0 energy. Racing on 0 energy makes it more likely you get the bad outcome. But even on high energy, even on non-zero energy, if you go more than 5 races, it gets bad quick, right? You get item to cure it? Oh, what the fuck? Interesting. Okay, I see. So yeah, if somebody could set you to 0 energy, you buy items to cure, race, train, race. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know there's an item to get rid of it. That makes perfect sense. In Mant, on a win, the top option is -20 and the bottom is -10 or 25. Huh. If you currently have 11 to 20 energy, then choosing the bottom option is clearly best, since you have a chance to stay above 0. That makes sense. If you have 21 to 25, choosing top is best, since, yeah, you could be punished. Yeah, this makes sense. This is just common sense. It gets a bit more complicated when you have multiple races in a row. Ooh, Garden Champ. 108.4. Nice. A bit more complicated when you have multiple races. You're planning to race 3 times, and you're at 41 to 45 energy. Picking the top on the first 2 races will guarantee you have energy remaining for the 3rd race. If you pick bottom and get 25, yeah, I see. So it's, you can't get punished for races that happen on the final turn before an objective, or races that are objectives. Ooh, I knew this one. I didn't know this one. Right? I didn't know that you couldn't get the bad event on races that were the final turn before your goal. I guess because it just loads you right into the goal after, huh? Gotcha. And man, this means the race is at the end of the year. Oh, because you don't have goals in this shit, right? Everyone's career is the exact same? Like, there's no individualized goals and events and shit, right? Like, everyone runs the same shit. Even if you do Armageddon as your 3rd race, yeah, this is the same. This is true here, too. Like, if you go, like, 3 races and then your goal race to the next one, it's 4, you literally cannot get penalized for that. So it applies in other scenarios, yes. An example, Ogre won't get punished after Takarazu Kina in senior year since it's their objective turn. Yes, correct. Based Ogre cap example, by the way. Okay, yeah, so a lot of this seems to be, it's all about juggling around 0 energy, right? I watched the VF run and legit look like a logic puzzle, super exciting. I mean, this part of it, at least, is kind of just like an extended math problem, right? But that is cool. I wonder if you can't tell exactly what energy you're on, though, right? Is the tough part. Like, you can tell roughly what energy you're on. I can usually eyeball it pretty well, but how do you know if you're at 45 or 46 energy? Because that genuinely might change your decision making. Did they add an exact number at some point? Use an overlay? Unironically, right? Got a monthly this Saturday. All good dog family coming over. I can't even stream on Saturday. LMAO. Next month, maybe. Yeah, because I feel like it is actually very important to know some more logic and optimization to be done. This is super boiled down. That's fair. It seems really important to know your exact energy amount, probably, right? That shit seems like it matters quite a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I buy the end closer hype. I mean, I'm you know, I'm the woke surger enjoyer, and I think while late surgers probably, I do think late surgers can probably be pretty good here, right? Just because you get updrafters as well as on your left as contingency plans, right? And you can still just stack mid race, and you have lots of good mid race skills. And Rising Dragon's always really good. The only thing is, I am a late surger primary, a pace chaser secondary. Because Ogre can do both, and I don't know, man. I'm just scared of Taiki Shuttle. That's literally it, right? That's the only, like, if you remove Taiki from the game, I think I'm running 3 lates, or maybe like two lates, 1 pace or something like that. But I'm just scared of Taiki, man. I feel like you do need, you don't need to, but I feel like it might be optimal to build around fucking her over, and as a result, I feel like paces and fronts are probably the best stuff for the CM, right? Kind of the exact same way that the last Mile Cup went as well, in that fronts ended up being really strong. Fronts were just good on the track, right? But it was also just that, in my opinion, I think the main reason that fronts were good is that it sometimes took Taiki completely out, right? Taiki helped overblown low-key? I don't know, man. I don't see it. I mean, it certainly wasn't in the last Mile CM, and this looks exactly the fucking same. She gets almost the exact same carryover. Taiki was so good in the last Mile CM that even with the primary meta comp, whether it was designed to build around her or not, with the primary comp that all the fucking sweats were running, hard countering her. It was like 3 fronts or like 2 fronts and 1 pace or something. She was still my winningest Uma by a lot, right? And my Taiki wasn't even good. Her unique's only about 30% effective. Yeah, guess what, man? That's better than basically every other unique in terms of anything remotely consistent, except for Saiyan Sky ult, right? Like, Saiyan Sky ult on Saiyan Sky. Yeah. He gets, what, like 2.5 seconds of 0.4 XL? No one else gets that consistently. It's not there. Yes? Like, could you imagine? I mean, if you're saying, if Taiki procced her ult here, she would be damn near unbeatable, essentially. Yes? Like, the bar for Taiki to be good here is not that her ult procs right here. If Taiki consistently procced her ult at the start of the late race, the balancing would need to happen. You know what I mean? The fact that she gets like 2.5 seconds of speed carryover, if you don't do anything about it, like if you don't actively fill the lobby full of fronts, she gets it extremely consistently, is better than any other horse can do on this track. Yeah? Pasa has a better version, but she has to be second or first, which is really tough on a pace chaser, right? All the fronts, well, I say all the fronts, 1 front per lobby is going to have a much more consistent excel in angling and scheming, right? But it's half as good. Is it even half as good? Hold up. Pasa's gonna have Pasa had a tough time in the sprint CM, and fronts are going to be very good in this CM, right? And building around killing Taiki is going to, like, by extension, build around killing, what's her face? Pasa, and it's easier to do as well, right? Yeah, this is literally twice as good as a front popping angling. Yeah? Like, the roughly 2.5 seconds, which is the worst case scenario, by the way, for Taiki, popping her ult, is like a front popping angling and scheming twice. And she's got the better coefficient than them because she's a pace chaser. Keep that shit in perspective, right? And she has all the other, like, head-on and all this, right? If you can grab Highlander somehow. Like, paces have good excels anyway. But, like, she also just gets to pop angling and scheming twice with no wit check, by the way. Again, that's the only character that has a better, more consistent excel here is Saiyan Sky herself. You'll see, Twin? I don't think I will, man. Again, if I will see because the meta has warped around her like it did in the last cup. I forgot if it was... Oh, wait, was it Virgo? Which one was the last Mile Cup? I don't remember. The last Mile Cup literally warped around Taiki, and she was still... I think I saw her win more lobbies than anyone else, among me and everyone else. Right? The meta warped around killing her, and she still just won everything. So, is there something about this race that makes it different from the last Mile CM vein? Or are you just saying that this time people have understood better? Virgo? Yeah. Because, by the way, there is also the chance, it happened to me a bunch of times in Virgo, where Taiki late passes, and she activates her ult here, and it's real rough, right? You basically need a backliner to hit a high roll to beat her at that point, yeah? The only person who beats a Taiki who activates Shooting for Victory, like right here, is like Major Orion hitting Iron at a good time or something. Do you have, like... You can't just say you'll see. I mean, you can just say you'll see, Twin, I guess. But do you have, like, logic for your reasoning, Vayne? Or are you just saying it because you think it's funny? That's valid. You could be doing the second one. I'm not going to necessarily is not gonna take it as seriously, I guess. With all the funnying I've been doing about Pasa, I think I am just going to build her anyway, because like, you know, just hope for a lobby where you don't have that many fronts, and then build her with a shit ton of mid race and stuff. Just scrims, she's really not as strong as many people make her out to be. Do you know why? Because scrims could just be, you know, maybe you just ran into lobbies that were bad for her. Maybe they were, you know, maybe they got unlucky mid races or something. I don't know. Seen so many fronts losing to Taiki despite hitting angling and plancha in room matches. I mean, hitting angling and plancha together makes you as good as the worst case scenario for Taiki's ult. Yeah. So I agree. Like I believe that, Drunk. Right? Like a front that hits plancha and angling now has the worst case scenario for Taiki's ult, is what they just popped. On a worse coefficient in the late game. From just her ult. She can then also, like, at the very least, she can stack head on. Right? You can try to gamble on Nimble Nav, I guess, too, but I don't know how much I'd recommend that. Highlander's pretty hard to get unless you're Rice Shower. Rice Shower comes with Highlander, doesn't she? But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see the world. No horse is ever going to be winning things 50% of the time. That'd be really bad, right? But I don't see a world where a well-built Taiki is not just like a super consistent, strong option. She has a really high ceiling, and her floor is, I mean, her floor is not activating her ult, right? Again, I would expect she is strong. So what's your point then? I don't understand. All I said is that was overblown. I guess it depends on what you think the current fever pitch is at and where you think it should be, right? She's strong, but she isn't Bermuda Thanos. I don't know, man. Even like Bermuda, Bermuda to me, the best thing about Bermuda in Virgo was that it stopped Taiki. I don't know, man. A lot of those fronts were just losing, right? Like the best thing that like I found that a lot of the fronts did is they stopped Taiki from popping her ult, right? I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, I think one of the main reasons that like that fucking it was like double front pace or like triple front or something like that. I forget the exact comp. But like one of the main reasons that ended up being as good as it was for Virgo, I think, is because it just also Virgo's not Virgo's Tenno Shell Autumn. Wait, what am I thinking of with in Virgo? Fronts and paces were also very popular. There was a different, was it that Chariot? People were talking about, people use too many fucking weird names for things. I just want people to use the fucking name of the comp. In Virgo, there were lots of fronts and paces as well. And there was some name that people were using for something that like VF told them to call it, and I can't remember what it was. Was it Chariot? Chariot's a different thing though. Chariot is like two fronts and a late. That's not what that is, right? Bermuda was specifically Red Maru, Suzuka, and Taiki. Well, I don't get it. You're saying that Taiki was not as strong as the comp that she was part of? I'm confused. Or are you saying that on this track, Bermuda's going to be worse, and that makes Taiki worse? Saying it's not as strong as she was then? Okay, why? Because what was the other one? Was what? It was fucking, I forget. What was the track for Virgo? It was it Kyoto 1600? I guess I could just check really easily, but I don't remember. Was it also Tokyo? Oh, Hanshin. Yeah, Hanshin 1600. That's the one. Yeah. That's correct. There's like a big difference in this track that I'm misremembering? Late race starts at the exact same pace as expected. Corner 4. What? Her ult is worse on this track, right? The downhill? I guess so. Yeah, straight descent was another acceleration you could use if you, like, she could use it, but also other paces could use it, right? But I mean, if anything, this corner starts earlier. Her ult was worse on this track. She would have gotten less carryover on this track compared to this one. And there's no downhill to straight descent, so there's, like, fewer good accelerations on this track, right? I guess things like straightaway accelerations were a little better are going to be a little better here than they were here. But I feel like by and large, except for like plancha, most of those are not super relevant. I mean, maybe there's new horses in the meta that are going to cause her trouble, but I don't see any reason why this horse is not meta defining, right? Like I fully expect that there's going to be a shit ton of fronts and paces. One, because a lot of those paces are going to be Taiki herself, and two, because I think if you've got any sense, you build her, like the one balanced part about Taiki is you can just shut her down, right? Like theoretically, if everyone was running, if everyone was running 3 fronts, it sucks, right? She can't do anything. It'd be impossible for her to ever pop her ult. I believe every other position has a stronger win con than Taiki. That's a hell of a claim. Explain. You're speaking voodoo to me right now. How? She has like great mid-race skills for it, right? I mean, the aptitudes come free. That still does matter, right? She has like the best ult for this track. She can get head on. It's a little annoying to get head on for her here because you need medium sparks, right? But she can get head on even from her shit. And then her ult itself is very strong. And pace, I mean, pace in general is going to be a relatively strong position here, I think. Like, it's not, if you think paces are weak in general, then I guess that'll be, if you just think that pace sucks here, but I feel like pace has good, like, even just, I mean, shooting victory plus head on by itself is pretty good, right? It's because pace is weak? Why? Okay, that, now I can see a realm where you're like, okay, well, all the other strategies have something better to do than pace. So pace is weak here, and even if Taiki is the strongest pace, she's still not that good. Now we're getting into, like, the realm of something that makes sense. But I feel like pace has, I mean, they've got good skills for this. They have, I mean, head on is going to be a good excel here again, right? Like, speed star is going to be great for velocity in the mid race. I mean, they have a fair amount of velocity skills that, like, every other position does, right? But they have a couple of, again, speed star is like a standout, like Rising Dragon to me. They have a very consistent excel for their position, right? Taiki might get squeezed out of position. Yes, again, I don't think that means Taiki's hype is overblown, by the way. I think if the entire meta revolves around building fronts so Taiki can't pop her ult, I don't think that means she's not good. I think that means there just is a counter, and we're going to do that counter, because why wouldn't we, right? If it's like, well, everyone's gonna build 6 fronts, so fuck, and that to shit on Taiki, that doesn't mean that she's not good. That means that we have to warp the meta around not letting her pop her ult. And fronts themselves are going to be good on this track. I mean, it's definitely not going to be the sprint CM where they were having a rough time, I think. That Falcon was very interesting, that 36% win rate Falcon. But by and large, most of the fronts that I ran into in the sprint CM were having a rough time of it. They're going to be good here again, like they are on every other length that isn't, well, mile and medium, I guess, is usually where they shine. But I don't think fronts are going to be, like, so good that every other strategy is invalid or something. It's like, well, fronts are so good that why would you even run a late or a pace or something like that. They are certainly a counter to Taiki. That's the exact same shit that happened in, what's it called, right? That's the exact same shit that happened in Virgo. And guess what? Taiki was still really good there, even though whether it was just to counter her or whether the meta just shaped up that way, fronts were incredibly popular in Virgo. And yet it still happened, right? Hell, if anything, right, it happened relatively commonly that, like, sometimes what would happen is that the fronts that didn't pop angling, or the fronts that are rougher time or something, it would lead to, like, late overtakes for Taiki, and she would pop her ult in a better moment. So front prevalence means NSM hit rate skyrockets, pace NSM is inconsistent. I like that. Yeah. But also, hold on. The front that doesn't hit angling or doesn't hit NSM is, like, the fronts are NSM fodders for the paces. No? Like, there's always the one, like, when I think of fronts, I always think of the winning front. How do you beat the winning front? But the rest of the fronts tend to fall back and get overtaken. Yeah. So I see that point, but I don't know if that's true. Like, the odds that a front hits pace is going to be quite good. It's going to be like 4 to 5 fronts a lobby, probably, if people are building around Taiki, which they should be doing. Fronts that fall back tend to get overtaken by the paces before that. I mean, if that's happening, then they're in the front pack, so they can pop NSM off the front ahead of them, right? Like, if the pace is... Either the pace doesn't catch up to them before the late race, and then the fronts that don't pop angling are going to fall behind and get NSM'd by the paces. Or the paces are going to catch up to them in the mid race, in which case the pace is now in the pace pack, and the whole front prevalence means NSM is going to happen. The same thing is going to happen for the pace. They're now in the same front pack. Like, they're essentially positioned as a front runner, right? If the idea is that fronts can pop NSM, and therefore that's a better win con than Taiki, I don't know, man. Right? Popping NSM is better than Taiki ult. Yes. That's true. No stopping me. This is better than Taiki ult, right? This is going to be like 4.5 seconds of 0.4 instead of like 2.5. Now, this isn't better than the best case scenario for Taiki ult, right? But this is better than Taiki ult, for sure. Again, I'm so confused because it isn't that much better than Taiki ult. Like, this is better. This is about twice as good as the worst case scenario for Taiki ult. Yeah? I think lates and ends will have an easier time hitting the NSM. I don't know. Are we spreading out before last spurt again? Yes, we are. But again, I mean, NSM hit in the sprint CM, right? It's going to happen. People still end up grouped, right? Obviously, Pace can hit it and will hit it. And I don't think it's going to be as rare as you're making it out. I see Pace should be the second most crowded field after front, I think. Pace might be the most crowded field most of the time. Just because a lot of the easiest horses to build for this shit are Pace, right? Like, almost all of the just, like, throw it at the wall and it sticks horses for dirt are Pace chasers, right? Ogre, Taiki, Pasa. I feel like there's going to be more Paces. Like, the only reason there wouldn't be the most Paces in the lobby is because Paces are the second most represented because of the fact that people are building fronts to kill Taiki, right? But, like, the very the very idea that there's fronts are going to be more prevalent than Pace might actually be wrong. And if it is, lates being more prevalent than Pace would be a big problem for Pace chasers, right? But like fronts being more prevalent, you just NSM off of them, right? Like you just NSM off the ones that don't pop angling or don't get lucky in the late race, right? Or the ones that if they get really unlucky, the ones that you catch up to in the mid race. It seems to say that the difference in proc rate between the front and the Pace NSM is so strong as to say that like he just doesn't, like Taiki having the best ult for this track. I mean, every other position has a better win con. I don't know. I just don't think Taiki will be Thanos. I don't think so either because of the fact that she is. You know what I mean? I think Taiki will not be Thanos because she is so obviously the best horse for this track that it's really dumb to not build around stopping her. And her one weakness is her ult is interactable. Yes? You can stop Taiki from popping her ult. It's a real thing that you can do. It's not like, you know, on a track where Christmas Ogre is really good, you kind of have to fucking hold that shit, right? If she has like the perfect 777 proc or something, there's nothing you can do to stop her. You just have to hope she gets unlucky, which is bad balance, right? That's why they do the Evo patch. But in a track where Taiki is really good, you can stop her by running fronts primarily, and then also if you want to run paces, running paces that are like super mid-race focused to try and get in her way, right? Not necessarily just blockers, but to, you know, function as blockers at the same time. So I think the reason Taiki will not be Thanos is explicitly because Taiki is, I think, the best horse for the CM by far. And that being incredibly obvious, in combination with the fact that her ult is interactable, means that she will end up probably being just good. She'll be very good, because people are going to run a bunch of fronts and paces to stop that. Yeah? In a world where people don't do this, and like, in a world where people do not do this, and every CM is like 3 paces, 3 lates, 3 ends or something, that might be too few paces. In a world where every lobby is like 5 paces, 2 lates, 2 ends or something, I don't know how you beat Taiki in this CM, man. Right? I actually don't know how you're going to beat Taiki. If the lobbies aren't warped around killing her, I don't know how you beat her without just high rolling, right? Her low rolling and you high rolling. A better way to think about it is like NSM is so good, and Taiki, at worst case, just gets half of an NSM. Yeah? So, Dirt C is not, Dirt C is not as bad as you think. Just because power, if you have good excels, power just doesn't matter that much, right? It'll hurt more for fronts, probably, because you want your power early on here, but again, you got the start dash bonus. I've heard people saying it again here. People saying that, oh, because there's this uphill in the acceleration zone, power matters more. No, it's the opposite. Power matters less. The fact there's an uphill in the acceleration zone here, and there are reliable excels, means that your power actually matters less on this track than it would if there wasn't. Yeah? Power is less efficient at converting stat into acceleration because of this uphill. So, Dirt C is obviously not, you would love to have Dirt S instead, but Dirt C is early start matters. The first part of the track is turf. Oh shit, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Right, I think I've heard people say this. How can you tell? How do you tell this? Because I know it says, oh, on turf. There you go. That's why. I'm fucking stupid. I was like, the whole thing's outlined in green. Yes, I am on the wrong track. You're right. There you go. Yeah, the first part here is dirt, right? Yeah, or turf. Yeah. Right. Oh, I see. Wait. Oh, huh? Oh, her ult is way better here than it was in Virg. Oh, brother. I forgot about it. Taiki's ult is way better here than it was in... I forgot there was 75 meters extra between... I thought it was 25. Yeah, Taiki's ult is even better on this track than it was on Virgo, right? I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all. So you have to go through way more time here. I know it's 75. It's actually only 35 or what? 36 and a half? No, 34 and a half? 33 and a half? 33, 32 and a half? 38 and a half? 37 and a half. There you go. Right? But her ult is actually like better here than it was in the other one, right? Her ult is better here than it was in the other one. Isn't Falco cucked in early game? I mean, again, if you have groundwork, for example, your power doesn't matter anymore, right? Like you got like, well, it's not that it doesn't matter, but it becomes so much less important if there's a skill, and in the early game you also get the start dash bonus, which I actually don't know the magnitude of. I should figure that out. Front player, do you know the magnitude of the start dash bonus? I just know that it exists and it's added, and I imagine it's big because you accelerate a lot faster in the early game than you do in the late game. But yeah, like there being an uphill here, it's harder to fight for first if your power is shot. It is literally harder, yes, but every other thing on your Uma is going to matter more, probably, right? Like your wit, your mid-race excels, right? Or mid-race velocities, like the consistency of your groundwork proc, right? Like everything else matters more than your power. If you can get everything, yes? But if you're going to like sacrifice power for wit, for example, or if you're going to sacrifice wit for power, no, right? The turf there is cosmetic? Wait, huh? Also, no, the turf there is this true? That's crazy. So again, Dirt C, I mean, Dirt C is not good, right? I think there needs to be a very, like, you need to have a real, the only horse that I saw that feels like it's worth running with Dirt C is Saiyan Sky, right? Because Saiyan Sky is the only horse in the game that has an ultimate that is better for this track than Taiki Shuttle. The only horse, right? Now, hers is also very interactable, and you can fuck her over from getting it, and with how many fronts are going to be there, it might be a little hard for her. But Saiyan is the only horse in the game that has a better ult for this track than Taiki. And if a Saiyan pops her ult, good luck, man. Right? And guess what? If a Saiyan pops her ult, that minus 40% power, it matters, but it matters so much less than you might think. Minus 40% is a huge number. It's like cutting it almost in half, right? But she can get away with it. Would it be better if she had Dirt B, especially, even? Or Dirt A? Obviously, but I think Dirt's, like, the surface is not as big of a deal as you might think. But again, it's a big enough deal that I think unless you have a really good reason, just run someone with Dirt B or A. Or Dirt B and get it to A, right? Is front Taiki the play here? I think front... So, the problem with Taiki is she genuinely... she can be too far ahead as well, right? Keep in mind, shooting for victory only procs in 3rd or 4th. Shooting! Right? This only procs in exactly 3rd and 4th. So, if you're 1st or 2nd, you don't get your ult. Now, right, what happens a lot of the time is that you can just late pass, right? You can like, or get late passed or something, and then you pop your ult at a perfect time and it goes crazy. But it's the same, like, it's not going to make your ult super consistent to run her front necessarily, and it's gonna lead to a lot more spark pain, right? The actual best... So here's the funny thing. If you had fucking infinite spark... I don't know how you do this. But, like, the actual best... Well, I guess it's probably not that hard because she has Dirt B already and she comes with Mile A. Huh. If you had the time to build everything, the actual best horse for this race is probably Christmas Hogery front, I think. Just because Restless is, like, the perfect trigger right here. If you could get that shit on her. But, like, I don't think you want to run... I don't think you want to build front Christmas Ogre. I mean, I don't know. Right? He has like nearly a perfect trigger here in Restless. And I mean, again, like her ult is just as strong as shooting for victory, and it's not interactable, right? So if you could get that to work, I think that, like, if we could just 20xx like pull Uma out of our ass, the best Uma in the game is probably front Christmas Ogre for this, right? But I don't know if she's... I don't know if I see one of them, I'm gonna be very impressed, right? She can get a max of 0.6 excel, yeah. But, so I'm not doing that, right? I'm not doing that. But that probably is actually the best horse for this. TAS Uma type shit? Yeah. But if we leave Fantasy, isn't Ogre 0.3 excel? Yes. It is less than Taiki. That's true, actually. I think it lasts longer, though. I think it's 5 seconds. I should know this better off the top of my head. I'm a fraud. I think this is 5 seconds and shooting victory is 4. Yeah. Right? Shooting is 4, is it not? Where is... I'm looking up shooting for victory instead of Taiki. I'm a fool. This is 4. Yeah. Yeah, front Pasa, actually. If you want to run Pasa, front Pasa is probably not a bad idea. Right? Because Plancha... Again, Plancha is going to be a very good ultimate here. The problem is, if you run Pasa pace, I feel like it's going to be really hard for her. Right? Pasa front, I'm a big believer in Pasa front, actually. That makes a lot of sense. Probably not that... I mean, again, not that... Like, neither of these are... I guess... I'm thinking of the sprint CM. Neither of these are that hard to do. I just don't like to build fronts. Yes? Like, I just don't like to build fronts, but, like, they already come with Mile A and Dirt B. You just kind of have to... You have to work really hard on this, right? They both have front F. Well, she has front E. Pasa has front E. So you need to what? You need to hit 1 inspiration? Okay, I guess because, yeah, you can't... It's harder to slot into front 2 because you need your groundwork and you need your groundwork procs as well. Right? Yeah. Right. It's a little different than... You need 10 front, 1 dirt. Yeah, it's a little different than other roles because you need to... You also need to get them all of dirt. Like, they have like a... You must have these skills to ride this ride, right? If you can build them, both of the... I mean, you would have to get 10 and also hit an inspiration on her just because your aptitude matters so much as a front runner especially. But if you could build either of these two, I guess, yeah, these probably are the best. These probably are the best horses for the CM. But leaving Tas Uma territory, it probably is just Taiki, right? If we just look at the track and go, who's the best for this? Now, because of that, I think Taiki's going to be just fine. You go, oh no, I think Taiki's going to still be very strong, but she's not going to be Thanos because of the fact that she's well designed. So you can build your teams, you can build your lobbies around shooting her in the foot. Yeah. If you want to hit S, sure. E to A is just 10 pre-career. Yeah, I'm talking about Christmas Ogre is F, right? So at 10 will get you to B, and then you're gonna have to hit an inspiration to get to A. For Christmas Ogre, if you want to get her front, she's even harder than Pasa. Better, probably, but harder, right? That's a tough one. Because like the thing with Christmas Ogre's ult that is like, listen, I love my daughter. The thing about it that is this, it's literally bad design is that there's nothing. If this ult is good, which it often is, there's nothing you can do about this, right? Like especially we haven't had a CM since Ogre has come out and has been like buildable for a long time, where you've had like the perfect 777s proc or something, but there's no interaction with this whatsoever, right? You can fuck with Pasa, you can fuck with fronts, you can try to block fronts, you can try to block Pasa, you can try to block Taiki, right? You can try to, you know, run fucking Haru End to fuck with like Sleeping Lion on Taishin. There's like the only thing you can do if Christmas Ogre is good in a CM is hope she fails her wit checks. Right? Like you fucking take your hands off the controller and you go, I hope, you know, if you block fronts, you're giving Taiki fodder. Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of, again, with these interactable ultimates, it's good game design because it leads to like a meta that kind of self-balances, right? I think in a vacuum, Taiki is the best horse for this race by like a lot, right? But because the game is mostly, outside of my daughter here, mostly well-designed, that means that it's probably going to end up that she's going to be an important part of the meta, but she's not going to take anything over, right? Because, I mean, hell, fronts are, in a way, past a certain point, they can be cannibalistic with themselves a little bit, right? They, like obviously one front is bad. You want at least 2 or 3 to spot struggle with each other, right? But with enough, if there's like 6 fronts, the odds that your front is the one that wins goes down a lot, right? Like the odds that you become the guy who gets angling and scheming, that you beat all the other ones and you get your angling and you get your plancha even sometimes off is going to go down, right? The more fronts and paces there are as well, the better the backliners get because they can like shit like on your left and updrafters stops even being a contingency. You can have an amazing mid game as a late and be really close even past a couple of the paces. You're very close up to all the frontliners. You're going to coefficient mog them by default anyway, and you can still pop updrafters and on your left and just teleport, right? If there's way too many frontliners, the backliners, all of them get way better as well, right? So, but then, you know, if the backliners are too good and there's a lot of backliners, people running lates and ends and stuff like that, and it's a track where Taiki is very strong, then suddenly, or like Pasa or, you know, or whatever, right? Suddenly it's like, okay, well now you're just letting these monsters pop their ults for free, or even, you know, if there's like 2 fronts, if you're the only guy running 2 fronts, right? You bring 2 fronts and no one else is running fronts because backline is very good. One of your horses is guaranteed to get angling and scheming, almost, unless they get eaten by a pace chaser or something, right? So the game's meta is very self-balancing, which is why I think that is maybe where the heart of the disagreement that I was having with Vayne earlier is that I don't think that Taiki is going to walk into the CM and win half of the races she goes into, right? I don't think it's going to happen. Not because she's not very good, or not because the hype is overblown. I think it's exactly because the hype is as correctly blown as it is that people who know what they're doing are going to build around her. And her biggest weakness is that she is buildable aroundable. And therefore, she's going to have a lot of races where the lobby just isn't favorable for her. She's going to be running into a lot of 5 front lobbies where it's going to be very hard for her to get her ult off at all, let alone at a good time, right? Or at the very least, probably at a good time, right? So I think she's like when we look back at the end of the CM, Taiki is not going to have been like dominant, but I think that is going to have been intentional, right? I think that's not going to be that, oh, well, Taiki just wasn't that good, right? It's that she kind of warps the world around her, right? You can certainly, by the way, take into account that, like, oh, well, if her ult is interactable, that makes her worse, right? Like, that's something you should factor into her power level. The fact that building around her is a possibility, that's true. That applies to everyone but her, though, right? That applies to everyone but Christmas Ogre. There is no win condition for any strategy that is not either interactable by your opponent, incredibly inconsistent, or Christmas Ogre ult on the tracks where it's good, right? Those are the only three categories of win conditions, I think. Or not unique to one horse or strategy. You know, they're like on the long CM, NSM is amazing for everyone. Everyone just, straightaway spurt exists. Straightaway spurt is not that good most of the time, right? There's a reason that straightaway spurt is explicitly very good on long tracks, because as an acceleration skill, right? Besides, even if the track is good for it, this thing is so weak. This thing is 0.9 seconds of 0.2. Right? This is nothing. Straightaway spurt is very balanced by the fact that it is just, if there's a straightaway, it works. This is so bad. Right? I got ads, so I heard nothing. True. I'll wait for you to get out of the ad break. But like, there's almost no skill in the game that has this little of a duration. I'm out? Hello. What I was gonna say is, spurt, yes, spurt is uninteractable, but spurt is not that good of a skill baseline, right? It's 0.9 seconds of 0.2. Yeah? This is so little. Like, this is pathetic, man. It works on longs, because on like a 3,000 meter, this is suddenly 2.7 seconds. So it does something. It's active for enough time that it makes a difference, right? But like on a lot of, like right now here, for example, right, with ends, I mean, it's not going to be bad, right? It's going to be a nice, consistent thing. But spurt is not a win condition by itself, right? Getting, what is it? It's going to be about 1.5 seconds of 0.2 excel. That's nice, right? That's worse than, I mean, that's worse than every other, that's worse than every other strategy's acceleration, probably, right? I mean, it's for example, it's just, I mean, head on, I would consider to be quite consistent, right? I consider this to be 5th or better as a pace chaser in the late race is pretty good, and it's literally twice as good as straightaway spurt, yeah? I know it's phase random, to be fair, but it's not the only thing going for them. Ends are unpopular this track, mostly because there's a few that work. You just end Digi or New Year's Aurora? No, I know, but I'm saying, you were saying straightaway spurt exists as a response to me saying the only win conditions are either inconsistent, interactable, or Christmas Ogre, and you said, well, straightaway spurt exists. My point is that straightaway spurt is not a win condition, right? I guess there's a fourth category of things that is bad, right? Straightaway spurt is a nice part. It's a plus. It's nice that I can run an end closer and get straightaway spurt, right? It's just like a nice, consistent excel that I can throw in, and it's like a reason to run end closers. It's like a point in that column, right? But spurt by itself will never be a win condition, right? Christmas Ogre ult by itself, that shit could be a win condition, right? NSM on a long track is a win. It is the win condition, right? Taiki Shuttle ult by itself sometimes is going to be a win condition, right? You can also pair it with head on, but spurt is just not a win condition by itself. It is, again, the game is well designed, I think, right? Because of the fact that on the tracks where spurt works, which is already one thing, on the tracks where it works, it doesn't necessarily work on all tracks. But on tracks where it works, right, it's just gonna happen. If they pass the wit check, it's gonna happen. That's why they made it so bad. Like, I can't think of another acceleration skill that doesn't last for a second. Yeah? Now, Encroaching Shadow, right, is really nice because it's 0.4. But again, it's really, like, on a long, we're talking, right? It's like 2.5 seconds, a 0.4. That's pretty good, right? But again, it's still going to be worse compared to every other gold acceleration that you might think of. It's going to be significantly worse on magnitude, right? So you just have to hope that it makes up for it enough with consistency, right? Spurt is not like some standout, right? It trades power for consistency, which is valid, right? It's valid. It also pops before almost anything else on a long. Yeah, right? Longs are like usually tailor-made, and end closers naturally are really good on longs because the longer the late race is, right, the longer you are going to be at top speed, the more your coefficient, your top speed coefficient matters, and end closers have the best one. Ends and lates have almost the same one, but ends are still technically a little better, right? So everything lines up for ends to be really, really good on those long tracks usually. And it's the exact same reasons that tend to pull fronts, make them have a harder time. Apparently when Kita-san comes out, they kind of have a bit of a resurgence on the longs, but forward march, I did hear about this. You can't, like, where do you get this? Is this Agnes Digital? Gotcha. Yeah, 3 seconds. That's really good, right? It is phase random, right? Same thing with head on is also. I did not know that head on was phase random, by the way. It makes sense. So on your left, that is phase random, huh? Yeah. So on your left was just the best excel for Capricorn. I don't know why I thought this was so much more consistent, right? Yeah, on your left was just the best excel for Capricorn. I think it was really just this, but better. I did not realize this was phase random. That does make it a little weaker, certainly, right? The fact that it could activate too late, and then you don't get that much benefit. Still good, right? But it is just on your left, essentially. Since it tends really easy to get dirt sparks from when making legacies have trickled down a bit. That makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm probably going to this is some amount of laziness. I think I'm probably going to end up running. I mean, I already got a Taiki. This is literally my first run, so I just kind of went in with like my baseline assumptions of what I thought would be good, which is basically try to get my wit as high as I can relatively, and then just spam mid-race speed skills to not get, assuming there's going to be a shit ton of fronts, and to not get left in the dust too hard, and if not catch up to them in the mid-race, at least be in a position to quickly overtake them, overtake the ones that die in the late race, right? She ended up looking like this, which I'm relatively happy with, honestly. When I hit pace S, I went a little less crazy. Like I started to F+ Ogre cap. Yeah, I had to listen. I was sleepy. I had to complete a daily. Okay, I just failed her career instantly. My daughter helps me out. All right, I like her quite a lot. I think. What happened to Mile Maven productive plan? I did not really go. Is 500 over Stam? No, I think she spurts like 90% of the time or something like that. I don't hit the threshold, but I don't think. I don't know. It doesn't feel worth it to me. If you can get it, awesome, but it feels like a luxury to me a little bit. It makes a difference of like a quarter of a length or something in the Umulator testing that I've done, and that makes sense because it usually comes out to something like 1/4 of the effect of a distance S is what I've noticed. So it being like somewhere between a quarter and a third of a length, which is not nothing, is what I guess it's not worth generally. I think for Taiki, her real one kind of staying 5th or lower in the mid race. Just to have access to her gold mid-leg skills. Yep. We should overtake dead fronts to get into shooting for victory position. I think I am essentially planning around there being a shit ton of fronts. In lobbies where there aren't, this Taiki might, she might overshoot a little bit, right? 601 doesn't matter as much, but around 570-ish is good. Well, that's because with 570-ish, with great mood, in the finals, you'll get that buff, right? But this, she has enough stam that she's not gonna die if that's what you're talking about. She doesn't hit the threshold though. But I like this Taiki enough to start building other things for sure, right? She has Shooting Victory, she has Plancha, which she won't always pop, but if she does, you can combo off of this, or sometimes if she gets far enough, it can be a nice thing to have. Lots of mid race, right? Curvature, prepared to pass, changing gears, double pace, corners, tail held high. Unyielding Spirit is more. I just didn't really have anything to spend my shit on at this point, but you could go Productive Plan and Mile Maven are early game skills. I decided to not go like early game pace down mode chain on this Taiki. I just had a limited amount of skill points, and I decided to just go with more mid race than early race, right? But you could certainly do a thing where you put like Uma Stan and Unyielding Spirit and Mile Maven and whatever, and you just try to get a bunch of early game skills going early, and then chain those into like one mid-race or two mid-race skills until position keep is over, and then you're probably fucking winning that race. It is more of a Gamba-y thing, but it's good, right? It's not the direction that I went with her though. It's because I didn't. If I had raced enough, maybe I could have done it, right? This Taiki I think ran 18 races. No, just 16. Damn. Yeah, in my head, this Taiki raced a lot. I really need to get better at racing, right? If I had raced more with this Taiki, maybe I could have, like, if I gotten like 19 even races, maybe I could have at least gotten one or two more of those white speed skills, right? I could have like Unyielding Spirit and like whatever the white version of Mile Maven is. Productive Plan, right? And like maybe even I couldn't have gotten Uma Stan, but maybe I could have tried to chain a little bit more, like a straightaway or mile straightaways, right? To try and chain early. I did have that hint, but I ended up again. I don't race nearly enough, not nearly as much as I should. But I really like that she has Mile S and Pace S. I think Pace S is going to be really nice for. I mean, the downhill is not very big here, but it is still there, right? The downhill is not that big of a deal. It is, however, still there. And it's also just wits in general for, you know, hitting pace up checks if you're too far behind and shit like that. The downhill is still, what, 200 meters? This, I mean, if you hit 1 to 2 downhill modes here, right, this is going to be, it's going to be like an extra curvature that just popped for you, right? Plus, obviously, high wits is still good anyway because I have, like, 9 different skills that I want to pop. I'm pretty happy with this Taiki. I think it's good enough. At least for now. I think I'm actually gonna run regular Ogre here because I think she is better than Christmas Ogre. This is the weakest CM that Christmas Ogre has had for a while. And mostly, I think it's because late Christmas Ogre is just not really good here. I don't know, man. Maybe I need to believe in Pace Christmas Ogre more, because Pace Christmas Ogre, you can run her the same way you would always run her, right? You just give her 3 gambling mid-race excels or something, and hope for the best, right? Yes, her best position is front. I'm not going to do that, though. Yeah, I'm not going to. If I have an alternative, I'm not going to build Christmas Ogre front. Just phase random gaming? Yeah, you could do that. You could just put Hydrate, what's it? Preferred position, and, like, I think the Creek inherits is phase random, and just have 3 different phase random mid races and hope that one of them pops at a good time. That's valid. I think that while that is good, I think that regular Ogre, just Ogreing it with fucking good stats and good like good skills and pulse, he's probably just gonna do better a lot of the time. He's not gonna hit the same high roll, right? I'll think about it. But I'm not gonna build front Christmas Ogre, right? So and then I think I'm gonna build a Pasa and really try to load her up with as much mid race as I can. Like try to really like I'll almost. I want to see if I can, like, almost neglect her power a little bit and try to get her ass, like build if we're fucking building for a sprint CM and still give her enough stam. If I can get her ass to, like, 1200 speed or close and 1200 wit or close and just load her up with races and mid-race skills, I'd be curious. But the best third blue for non-front Ogre is technically Urara ult, but she absolutely nukes your affinity. It's not worth it. Like, base Urara? Super duper stoked? This? Huh. I guess you have to be 5th or worse, so this is probably late Ogre, probably. I mean, this could be true for pace sometimes, right? And then you are on a corner, you're on the final corner. Near count equals 1. What greater than equal 1 is this again? What the fuck? The number of other girls that are currently near you. Here means no further than 3 meters behind the head or no more than 3 lanes to either side. I mean, this isn't that crazy of a condition. If you're a pace and you're worse than 5th, this is, like, certainly going to happen, right? But that's interesting. But yeah, I think this is probably the weakest, again, unless you're talking about front Ogre, in which case, again, front Ogre is probably the best horse for this race, right? She just has a completely uninteractable, unstoppable win condition. You just have, but it's just, I do think that the consistency, like how hard it is to get, like the Uma out, like to get an outcome that is what you want, I think is important, right? And I think front Ogre is going to be a real nightmare to build with front F and none of the skills you need at all. You're gonna have to nuke your deck and you're gonna get worse stats out of it and everything, but again, hypothetically, if you could make a TAS Uma, front Ogre is probably the best horse for this CM. I'm not gonna do that shit though, so I think I'm gonna run pace Ogre, regular Ogre probably. Maybe I would want, I think the weakness for front Ogre is the fact that she is a front runner with no mid leg ult. That's also true, that's valid, right? But yeah, the thing is that she's not necessarily trying, like Anglican scheming is a bonus for her, right? Getting like 7 seconds of a 0.3 excel right when the late race starts is, I mean, a lot better than angling and scheming. Yeah. Like a lot better. Like it's almost as good as Say and Sky angling and scheming, except you can't stop her from doing it. So like I feel like she's probably not going to get angling very much. It just kind of doesn't matter. She's literally only running front to pop Restless, right? Hop on Grass Wonder Fantasy. Oh, Superior Heal. The problem is this isn't. Yeah, the problem is this isn't phase random, right? As soon as you overtake someone in the mid race, which happens all the goddamn time, it pops. So this will, like, the odds that this pops at a good time for your Christmas Ogre are low. Very low. Like, probably 1 in 10, maybe, if you're being generous, right? Depending on the lobby composition, it might be a little higher, but this is incredibly unlikely to not just pop way too early or not pop at all sometimes. Yeah. So I think I'm just going to make probably a Pasa and try to load up as much fucking races, mid-race, wit on her as I can. And then I'll just make probably Pace Ogre. I would want to run late Ogre. Like base Ogre. Like regular Ogre, not Super Saiyan Ogre. I haven't decided on whether I want to run the Ogre late or Pace. Late, I think, is better. Right? I think late Ogre is probably stronger, but I don't think Pace Ogre is that much worse. And I'm scared of Taiki Shuttle. I'll think about it though. Maybe people. I think a lot of people are going to do the legwork on getting in Taiki's way for me, so I might just do late Ogre anyway, because she'll also then become the woke surger. Yeah, she'll also then, like, there's another side effect of running Pace Ogre who has a position agnostic ult. That side effect is that she might get in the way of my Pasa and my Taiki, right? So I might just say, you know what? Yeah, I think the more I talk myself into it, the more I think I'm just gonna run late Ogre and probably just fill her up with mid race and then Gamba. If she gets right up to people before the late race starts, she just coefficient diffs them. And if she doesn't, she has updrafters and on your left, or even Furious Feet. I don't know if I can get Furious Feet on her. The best card that gives Furious Feet is the Ogre card, unfortunately. So it might just be updrafters and on your left on her ass. Probably better for the skill points too. I don't think that much Gamba is worth, like, I don't think the Gamba is worth that many skill points. So I might just throw on your left and updrafters on her and then just load her up with mid race. And if the mid race goes well, she's gonna win. If it doesn't go well, she has 2 skills to Gamba on, right? Does Marvelous Sunday SSR Power also give it? Whoa, I don't think so. Does she? That would be insane. I don't think so, right? Fast and Furious. Ooh, okay. Oh, that's a good ass skill though. Yeah. That's a good ass skill though, right? This is just position pill for gold. That is a nice skill. Oh boy. How do you get position pilfer? The thing is, I don't know if I mean, I guess I could try. I guess I could use the Ogre as a bit of a power maxing experiment. Yeah, this does mean you can't run Wit Sunday. That's true. Yeah. Yuck. Yeah, not being able to run Wit Sunday sucks. I don't know. I like power, but I just am not that much of a believer, man. I'm not that much of a believer. I feel like it's good. It always feels like I've seen the take that wit is the luxury. Like, speed is obviously, for this, stamina is not that big of a deal, right? So like speed is your most important stat naturally, and then I've heard a lot of people say that like wit is the luxury stat and then power is the like secondary stat. I don't know, man. Right? Like obviously you don't want to have, like, you probably want to get at least 700 power or something. But this uphill really sours me on it, right? It really sours me on that power guy. And especially as well, like, just the fact there's just so many good excels. Yeah. Speed greater than power, greater than to equal to wit, assuming you have enough stam and there's no keen eyes in the lobby. I don't, why? I know power, like, if you just plug it into the acceleration formula, right? It's like, oh, if one guy has 700 power and one guy has 1200, the guy with 1200 is like activating a whole extra redshift over them or something, right? I think I did this math before, but I now forget entirely what it actually was like. Let's go back to the formula. No, I want the race mechanics doc, not the reference doc. Acceleration. Right? Where is Start Dash? Oh. 24 meters per second squared. Oh, your power doesn't matter. Oh, okay. Your power doesn't matter at all in the early race. Okay, gotcha. 24 meters per second. I was wondering earlier, how big is the start dash? Gotcha. Is that written right? Is that supposed to be 2 points for? Oh, your power does nothing, right? This is added. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, so power does basically nothing for the early race. Gotcha. But yeah, it's this, right? Like, if you just ignore skills for a second, and you go, well, base excel is 0.06. I'm not even gonna, the uphill makes it look worse for power, okay? So I'm not even gonna talk about that. But you go, okay, 0.306, I think. 0.006, right? Times the square root of 500 times a guy with 700 power, right? And then global overvalues the shit out of power. I kind of agree, right? Because look at this, right? If you just do this, I'm a Wit fan now, fuck power. I agree, right? If you just do this math in a vacuum, right? You just look at this. That guy's accelerating at 0.354 meters per second squared, right? If you have 1200 power, right? 0.464. That's a smaller difference. That's a smaller difference than I expected. That is, I thought it was going to be at least a 0.2 excel. It's not even a 0.2 excel? This is the best case scenario, by the way. This is where you're not even popping any... This is a big deal, but it's like 500 power diff, and you're not even popping any excels, and we're not on an uphill. If I put this on an uphill, things get worse, right? Right? Like now, we talk 7 hundo is 0.23, right? The difference to the last one was what? About, it was a little over 1.5, right? A little over 1.5. Now it's 0.7, right? Like, I really want to know, where did the idea that an uphill in the late race makes power matter more? Where did that start? Yes? Yeah, Fabled, I'm not even getting to that, right? Where did that start? It's so exactly the opposite. Uma YouTubers? Like, it's so exactly the opposite that I don't know how it got there. It literally is the inverse. If there's not an uphill in the late race, power is better. Yeah? What is happening? Oh, I had something coming from my headphones. I was like, did I accidentally play a video? I took them off. They're making me sweaty. It's literally the opposite. I'm so confused. Like, the difference, Uri Leo Cup was when all of the late race was basically an uphill. No, I get that, but I'm saying, if the late race is an uphill, power matters less. Yes? Like, if the entire late race is an uphill, power is worse than if it isn't. You know what I mean? That's the part that's like flabbergasting. I'm not saying that like, oh, power is good for uphills, but it's not that big of a deal. No, it's the opposite. If there's an uphill in the late race, power is less important than if there isn't an uphill in the late race. Yet I hear people parroting this, and like, you can we can look literally right now. We just checked the math. The guy without an uphill, the guy with 700 power, right? 700, 0.35, right? 1200, 0.46, 1.11 difference, right? 0.11 difference in Excel. Add an uphill into it, right? And 700 is now 0.23, and 1200 is now 0.3, 0.7 difference. About 33% worse, which you can just, if you're relatively math savvy, you can just look at this number and go, yeah, with an uphill, power is 33% worse, right? And the worst part is, this base Excel number is the only thing affected by an uphill. It multiplies into power, but skills get added. So skills get disproportionately better, right? Like, all this math that I'm doing is taking the best case situation for power, not assuming you just have one of these. One of these, and suddenly it's like your power is, the difference in power is damn near negligible, right? Yes. The velocity nerf on an uphill, again, this is where it's actually not that minor, Fabled, right? Was it the Armakinan? It was Nakayama. People, sometimes I get so confused with where people just don't do the math, I guess, right? I think it was Nakayama. Was it the Armakinan? Yes, it was this one. People said there's no uphill in the late race on this track, so power is less important. There's some uphills in the mid race, but who cares, right? This is when power matters more. Uphills in the mid race, again, it's not as big of a deal, but this is uphills in the mid race is where your power matters. Because this is where, like a 300 power diff between two people, skills can't save you here. I mean, I guess, no, they really can't, because like you lose target speeds. Your velocity skills can offset this, but it's the same thing, right? there's also a good amount of downhills. Yes, that's true, right? But ignoring in a vacuum, because my problem, people are so wrong about this. It's not even in like a comparison with other options. In a vacuum, they're wrong. Like they just don't know what the mechanics are doing, right? In a vacuum, these uphills did actually matter a lot, right? Like if you went, like the difference between, there was still diminishing return, right? But the difference between a guy with 700 power and like 850 was like a length and a half if you math this out across the race. Now, the difference between a guy with 850 and like 1200 was also like a length. Like it falls off really fast, right? Because it's 200 plus power over this, like it's, or the slope over 200 plus power. It's diminishing returns, right? In the increase. I forget the formula for it now. But like, there was like a minimum kind of baseline amount of power where below it, you really started to fall behind people, right? And in the mid race, it's very important for a lot of positions, right? Because not only is this just losing a length and a half to a guy with 150 more power than you, it's also losing positioning, which can spiral into an even worse situation for you in the late race, yeah? So, weirdly, in the Armakinan, I heard a lot of people, because this was the one that, was this right after the 3000? Was this right after it was 2 after the Kyoto one, right? After the Kika show? In the Kika show, I heard lots of people, mid-race velocity skills can still save you here though, right? Yes, but it's offsetting something where it wouldn't have to be. If the difference between an acceleration skill in the late race and a mid-race velocity skill in the late race with an uphill is that the acceleration skill actually, when you have an uphill, the acceleration skill is disproportionately better because it's not affected by the uphill and your power is. Everything is affected equally by that target speed stat, right? By that target speed down. Like if you pop an excel and you went from 20 to 19.5 because you're on an uphill, and the excel, the mid-race skill takes you up to 19.65, then you get 0.15 meters per second for 2 seconds. It's like exactly, you gain 0.3 meters on the competition, right? No matter what your, this is actually something that I wrongly hold this against home stretch haste and shit, right? Even if your speed is higher or lower, as long as it immediately pops you, like if you're at top speed and immediately pops you above it, it's a flat value, right? It's a flat value there. So yeah, and then also the mid-race speed skills, the other difference between the late race and the mid-race is that the mid-race speed skills are a much smaller portion than the reduction of the uphill. Yeah? An uphill will often reduce you by like 0.5 meters per second, which is like you would have to pop 2 golds to overcome that. Whereas the reduction to uphill only applies to the power's ability. And in fact, not only can skills completely offset it, it makes them even disproportionately better, right? Power is so much more important for stopping these kind of mid-race uphills. And then there's another, again, the other thing too, is that even if the impacts were exactly the same, getting your speed reduced in the mid-race has knock-on effects. Because it fucks with your positioning, which can lead to you, you know, if you're a front runner, you don't pop angling. It like takes your win condition from you, right? If you're a Taiki, obviously this is a 2500, but if you're a Taiki, right, maybe you fall behind and you can't get 3rd or 4th, or if you're a Pasa, you can't get 1st or 2nd, right? Mid-race positioning is also much more important. Losing, you know, 0.5 meters per second for 5 seconds in the mid-race is worse than the late race. Because in the late race, it's like, okay, well, I lost 0.5 meters per second for 5 seconds. I lost the length of my opponent, right? I lost 2.5 meters compared to them. The exact same thing happens in the mid-race too, but then it's like, okay, but I also have knock-on effects of like, now I can't pop my ult, now I can't pop something, right? I agree, Fabled. Yeah, stamina was highly over fear-mongered as always. But the point of my rant here is that it was so odd to me watching the CM we had where power was the most important it had maybe ever been, and everyone goes, there's no uphill in the late race, unlike the last long CM with the Kika show, right? People went, well, unlike the Kika show, there's no uphill in the late race here, so, you know, focus more on you don't have to worry about your power quite as much. Not everyone was saying that, but like, I think real knowers, who people like go in and will do the math, like they know, right? But like the general sentiments that I was hearing was like, it was blowing my mind. Like people were in the Kika show saying power mattered when it didn't, and then in the Armakinan they were saying it didn't when it did, you know? Now in both of these cases, I think width was better, right? But I get really confused by where it comes about it, right? The best part about the uphill in the Kika show was that it slowed down your rabbit consistently. For those strats, for like people who wanted to slingshot off of like into an NSM or something. Like they pace you, they pull you along the whole race, and they die and you NSM off of them. Yeah, that makes sense. The Kikasho part of its uphill was in the mid race, and that's the part that mattered, but it wasn't enough to really make a difference, right? The interesting thing with the Arima, right, is that uphill, not only was there a mid race uphill, the other place where it's very important when these uphills come up, right, is in the last spurt. Yeah, because here you're at top speed, so late into the last spurt like this, if you're at top speed, you just straight up decelerate compared to your opponent. It really hurts to have this right here, right? This is like, if the difference between a guy with like 700 and like 900 power here was almost like, it was like a pulse, I think. It was like giving your opponent a pulse. Like right here, it's like they popped Triumphant Pulse over you. Yeah? Like, uphills only really matter when you are at top speed when you hit them. If you are accelerating when you hit them, they matter, but really only in a way that makes you want less power rather than more, right? The only time where an uphill should happen, where you go, I need more power now, is if that uphill occurs when your Uma is at top speed, at their target speed currently. Late into the last spurt, or midway through the last spurt roughly, because you get a little bit of a speed bonus from late race to last spurt, but you can usually make it up in like, it's not very much, right? It's like, you'll go from like 23.8 to like 24.5. It's not like from mid to late where you go from like 20 to like 23.8, right? It's like a little bit after the last spurt begins, and in the mid race. This is where these uphills matter, right? They don't matter in the late race. All that being said, right? This uphill right here, I've seen people talking about this uphill right here for the Aquarius Cup and going, oh, this uphill happens right at the start of the late race, right? You gotta load up that power. No, you don't, right? Like, if anything, again, this uphill being right here, all that means is you gotta sacrifice some power for other shit, right? Power is not as good here. Power, I mean, unless I'm missing something and there's something else that running uphill does, but I've looked, I've not found, I was trying to make sense of it. As far as I can tell, the only effect that running uphill does is for acceleration is that it makes this basic cell number smaller. I've not seen anything else. I've not seen any other mentions, not in this document, and not when I looked around either. Right? If you can find something, if there's a mechanic that I'm missing or something, let me know, because it feels like I'm taking crazy pills. Listening to people once again go, there's an uphill in the late race, so make sure you stack your power. No, there's an uphill in the late race, so your power matters less than it ever has. Right? It's still gonna be good, right? If you, but like, you know, I would not sacrifice anything for power, basically. Like, wit still seems more important to me on this track. The downhill is a lot less than it was in, like, the Sprint CM. It's still a 200-meter downhill, though, and positioning is going to be incredibly important here. And you still need to pop, like, 9 skills, right? At the end of the day, you still need to pop, like, 9 skills to get your shit. Like, you need to pop, like, 3 or 4 mid-race skills. Like, I mean, if you're a front, you have to hit, like, groundwork. You have to hit that groundwork with proc, right? And then you need to hit, like, 2 or 3 late-race skills as well. So maybe it's an angle off of, if you've hit good wit and good power at that point, get the one with less diminishing returns. That one is wit. Right? The one with less diminishing returns is wit. Because wit is exponential. Yeah? Look, I've talked about this before. If you might go, if I have 600 wit, I have an 85% chance, I think, right? It's 85% chance to activate my skills. If I have 900 wit, it only goes up to a 90% chance. I got 300 more wit, and I only got 85, 90 CD bra size. So true. I only got 5% more. But that's not how we think about this, right? The way the actual chance of, like, it's not one skill proc, right? This Taiki that we were looking at earlier, right? If we go back and look at this Taiki, right? What do I really, ideally, I want this Taiki to hit all of her skills if the conditions arise for them, right? But let's say just the ones that are, like, really mission critical, right? Her ult isn't a wit check, so we don't care. We want to hit plancha if we're in the position for it, absolutely. We definitely want to hit curvature. We want to hit it's on. Let's say nimble nav is gamble, we'll ignore it. We probably want to hit all of our mid race, honestly. It's going to be super important, right? So, like, I want to hit 1, 2, 3, prepared to pass, changing gears. Let's say unyielding spirit is a gamba skill, who cares, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, changing gears, 5, pace chaser corners, 6, tail held high, 7, head on, 8. There are 8 different skills that I want to pop. Okay. What are the odds of hitting an 85% chance 8 times in a row? 27%. What are the odds of hitting a 90% chance 8 times in a row? 43%. By increasing my wit by 50%, I have increased the probability that I get all the skill hits that I need by about 50%. Actually, a little more, right? Not only was it not diminishing returns, actually, going up from 600 to 900 has that 50% increase in my wit has led to a greater than 50% increase in my skill proc chance, right? The stat with less diminishing returns between wit and power is wit. Right? Let's look at power. And again, I'm looking at the best case scenario for power where we are not we're not on an uphill, right? We're not on an uphill, and we don't have any Excel skills. I'm in fantasy land. I'm literally in fantasy land. This is the best case situation for power, right? 600 wit, 0.328. 900 wit, 0.4. A 50% increase in my power has increased my acceleration by about 20%. You know what I mean? And wit is the one with diminishing returns? Not even close, right? I've seen a 400 wit horse since that end dominant. What? I don't know. I've seen a 400 wit horse since that end dominated long CM. What do you mean? You've seen 400 wit. I don't think I've seen a 400 wit horse since. Oh, I don't think I've seen a 400 wit. Oh, I got you. Sorry. I thought it was a bunch of misspellings. That makes sense. I don't think I've seen a 400 wit horse since that end dominated long CM. Yes. But my point is, right? Thank you for the explanation. My point is that I've seen plenty of 600 wit horses. Exactly. Me too, man. I saw them in the Arma, and I beat most of them. Right? Like, if you're looking at, okay, 600 power versus 900 power, and 600 wit versus 900 wit, the one with less diminishing returns out of those two stats is the wit. And by the way, keep in mind, this is the best case scenario for power, where we are not looking at any Excel skills popping at all. And yet it's twice, like the gap you got, 600 power to 900 power, increased your Excel by 50%, right? And, by 20%. And, what's it? 600 wit to 900 wit increased your chance to proc the skills you need by 50%. Now, you could argue, Mr. Streamer, right? What if, right? I didn't want 400 wit Tama because I couldn't afford to use more wits cards since I needed Umastan. Yeah, valid. I mean, it's you can still do it, right? But, like, what if the acceleration is just better than the skill proc chance, right? Like, who cares? At the end of the day, like, if power is increasing Excel, if power is increasing Excel by a smaller amount, but, like, it's better than skill proc chance, then, like, maybe isn't it still worth it? Okay, sure. Let me even give you that, right? Let me even give you that. The problem with this theory is that skill proc chance is Excel. Yes? There's one problem. Is that skill proc chance is Excel in many ways. Not only is, like, for example, hitting my plancha and hitting my head on literally a wit check, right? And if I hit both of these, it's the equivalent of, like, adding 1,000 power than if I didn't have them, right? Also, like we've mentioned, wit for mid-race positioning speed skills will lead to Excels. If I want to hit my shooting for victory, I have to be far enough ahead to do it. If I want to hit plancha, if I want to head on less so, but if I want to hit head on, I have positioning requirements to do it. Yes? So, and then, you know what? Let's say, Mr. Mathman, fuck you. Power, the effect that power is providing through the direct Excel is still better, right? I still think it's 2.5 times as good as the effect that wit is providing through the skill proc chance, right? So if wit is, the jump from 600 to 900 wit is 2.5 times bigger than the jump from 600 to 900 power, you know what, Mathman? Power is, that effect power is giving is still 2.5 times better. Okay, cool. Now, we bring up the fact that, one, here, we're on an uphill, so power is 30% worse, right? Power is 33% worse because we're on an uphill. The difference between a guy with 700 and 1200 power, or 600 and 900 power, or whatever, is going to be 33% smaller than it was before, right? Like 0.219 to 0.268. This is like 15% or something, right? So, boom, right? Even if you thought it was 2.5 times better, guess what? Wits just became better again. And then, let's actually go back to the land of the living, the land of real life for a second, and think about the fact that most of the time, right? If you're running a horse that has any chance of winning in a CM, you have at least 0.3 Excel popping as well, by the way, right? Like, you have at least 0.3 Excel on top of that, right? Which is now more than the total acceleration your power is giving you, right? Like, when we did square root, right? Oh, this number is a little, I have one too many zeros here. There you go. Yeah. This is 0.268. The 0.3 Excel is literally over half, it's over half of your total Excel now, right? So that difference in the power proportionally, right, is now straight up half as much, right? Now again, you could argue that acceleration is a linear thing, right? At the end of the day, maybe this doesn't matter to you, right? Maybe this doesn't matter to you because you're like, you know what? If we do the kinematics equation and it's fucking, v times t plus 1/2 at squared, it doesn't matter the proportional change in acceleration, right? It doesn't matter the proportional change in the acceleration, but it's still going to get the same amount of distance difference. Okay, sure. In which case, talk about the uphill, and we then bring up, right? We then also bring up the fact that I fucking was ignoring one of the most important things Wit does, which is fucking positioning in the mid-race, man. Even a 200-meter downhill. Do you want to know what downhill mode looks like in this game? Right? You want to know what downhill mode looks like in this game? When you are in downhill mode, right? Let's see, downhill. There you go. When you are in downhill mode, you use 60% less stamina. So in a track where stamina matters at all, while you are in downhill mode, you use literally less than half stamina for the duration of it, which is nutty, insane, ridiculous, right? And we're not done. Yeah? It's directly linear scaling. It's no diminishing returns. It is straight linear scaling with your wisdom stat. If you have 50% more width than a guy, you have a direct 50% higher chance to enter downhill mode than them, right? And it's professor of curvature when it's up. It's just 0.31 usually. It's usually about 0.31 to 0.315 while it's up. It has a flat chance to end. Width doesn't help you stay in it longer, right? But when it ends, the odds that you go right back into it, directly linearly scaled with your width. So I don't know, man. I get it. I'm not saying power is a bad stat. I think it's a very good stat, and I think it is very important actually because I am doing a little bit. I did a little bit of math trickery, right? I did a little bit of math trickery here. There is one thing that I did that is not true in what I said. While it's true that generally, right, acceleration skills, if you are just trying to hit a particular number of power to be competitive, yeah, acceleration skills mean that your power is less important. If you're trying to, if there's like you must be accelerating this fast to ride the ride, which is a valid way of looking at things, right? There probably is like, if you're not accelerating at least 0.5 or something like that, then you're probably not going to win, right? In that case, then yes, acceleration skills do make power less valuable. However, if it's not about hitting a goal and it's just about what is the marginal difference that an extra 300 power will make for you, it is completely irrelevant to the proportion of your acceleration that the power makes up, right? Because at the end of the day, the kinematics formula for distance covered over time based on speed and acceleration scales just linearly with your acceleration. So whether you went from 100 meters per second squared to 100.5, or whether you went from 0.5 to 1, right? Assuming that you don't hit top speed in the middle of this, right? Assuming this isn't like wasted Excel. Whether you went from 0.5 to 1 or 100 to 100.5, that 0.5 is going to make the exact same difference in the lengths you gain on your opponent. Do you understand? Because the formula is distance equals speed times time plus, yeah, right there, 1/2 acceleration times time squared, right? So A right there, acceleration, if it goes up by 0.5, the whole value at the end goes up by 1/2 times t squared. The proportion that power is making up of your acceleration doesn't really matter, right? insofar as 0.5 excel is 0.5 or 0.05 excel in this case probably is 0.05 excel. Yes, but it's just not as good as what Wit is providing. Again, especially we're talking about the uphits, right? You really need to start uploading your lectures. I saw Vane, by the way, talk a while back about you need to start uploading your lectures, bro. Maybe people need to hear this. Maybe. I think it's just my audience doesn't, but maybe I can like really try to organize my thought. This is also just a bit of a rant. I gotta maybe try to make like an organized. This is something that does bother me. This is something that does bother me when I see so many people just saying shit that is straight wrong, right? Like, listen, if after all of this you're like, you know what, I still like the guaranteed excel, right? Power does reduce the target speed loss, yeah, right? But this is what I was saying earlier, Brownian, is the only time, like, this is what was driving me crazy, is that the time where power was the most important was the fucking Nakayama Arumakinen, which is where everyone told me power didn't matter because there wasn't a fucking uphill in the late race, right? The target speed reduction on an uphill is the actual impact where power matters, right? Power matters for reducing that target speed reduction. It's actually quite important there. But you know where that doesn't matter at all? The target speed, not current speed, right? It's very, very important to notice. It is target speed, not current speed. So do you know where a target speed reduction matters the least? When you're accelerating, which is the exact opposite of what everyone else tells you. I'm seeing it again, right? I'm seeing it again. I'm backing up considering late race hills. Yes. I know I'm not disagreeing with me. I'm just like, I did bring that up earlier, but I'm not in this recent rant. But I don't know if I could trust you more than most Uma tubers. I mean, the only thing that I do is like, I just will do the math. You know what I mean? I don't want someone to tell me, oh, this thing is better than this thing. I'll listen and I'll go, okay, let me figure that out, right? Like I will actually do the math. We lab it out, right? Because the math is, thankfully, because of amazing people in the community, the math is available, right? The formulas are here. The game doesn't tell this shit to you, but amazing people have data mined it or figured it out through exhaustive testing or what, I'm not sure. But the math is right here. So because the formulas are here, I can just figure it out, right? And by the way, same thing, 200 over power stat. While the target speed reduction is actually where power is very important, power here has significantly diminishing returns. Think back to your high school math classes where you learned about different functions. You learned about 1 over x, right? 1 over x scales, like it's not logarithmic, but it like as x gets bigger, it slows down, right? Like it doesn't like the more x grows, the slower the function grows. Yeah. Ever seen that people have to initially theorize how Affinity works by looking at the patent for the game? What heroes? Oh my god. Yeah, I again, the real the real hero, right? The people who figured these numbers out, or I don't know how the fuck they did it. But now that they're here, it's crazy that so many people don't fucking use them. And like, okay, if you're like a casual, right? If you're like a casual player, I'm not like, oh, how dare you not know the formula for target speed loss on an uphill, scaling on slope percentage and power. That's not what my point is. My point is that like people are like parroting things, or people are making guides for people about like, here's the best shit to do, right? They're just like, they're lying to people. Like I don't know if they're doing it on purpose to make their lobbies easier or what. It's crazy. Or if they just like didn't look into the numbers themselves, they heard it from someone else and they just were like, seems right. Because like, listen, if you got a 1200 power Uma, is it technically a little bit like if you had like a 1200 speed Uma and a 1200 power Uma and a 600 wit Uma, right? Is that probably worse than for almost every track than a 1200 speed Uma, a 600 power Uma, and a 1200 wit Uma? Yes, right? Yes, right? It does. It will be worse probably on most tracks for most positions, especially as the meta goes on. But that's still a strong ass horse, right? People are going to build a 1200 speed Uma and a 1200 power Uma, and with like wit, and it's still gonna run over most people just because most people just don't have a horse that good, right? So you're gonna you're gonna hear that, you go, oh, I'm gonna build power, it's gonna work. You're gonna go, oh, this is the correct advice. You're gonna parrot it for other people, right? But no, it's wrong. It's wrong. You just had a really good horse, maybe. I don't know, right? So I don't know. This was we didn't play the game today. I really was planning on doing some Aquarius runs. Do you know that? I really was. Maybe because this is something that I am rather passionate about. Well, this game in general, and then this fucking power. Power is not a bad stat, by the way. I think power is a good stat, but I think wit is a heavily underrated stat. And as we are progressing further and further, it is getting better and better and better. As people are getting better at racing and have more skill points and therefore have more skills, right? As skills are just becoming new, better skills are coming out and better inherits are happening, and we have more and more skills that we need to proc, right? As people understand and build around the importance of positioning more and more and more and more, wit is just gonna get better and better and better and better. Power was at its best in fucking URA, man. Yeah. But no, I think Aquarius runs soon. TM tomorrow, I guess. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I think I might when I have some free time, I might red arrow, red circle pictures of all the Uma tubers. Yeah. By the way, I'm not trying. My point is not to. I get very passionate about this stuff. I don't mean to like throw shade at like. I've heard like VF talk about up power for uphills in the late race and stuff like that, right? I don't mean to throw any shade at anyone. I'm just saying like it is just misinformation, right? Is the only thing. Like again. Please, if there's like something in here that I missed about how uphills work and how power works, I would love to know. Like if you go, ha, dumbass, I found this thing and it means you're wrong. I'm not gonna be mad at all. But I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, hearing people not only say misinformation, but directly the opposite of the truth, right? Like it'd be one thing if like power didn't make an effect on uphills at all, right? People were just saying like, oh, if it was just like a urban legend, right? And it was like, well, it makes sense in, you know, if we transpose our mental model onto the real world, running up an uphill, that should take more power, right? That should take more power. So like, what's the big deal? But it turns out it didn't do anything, but it's the opposite, right? Like it's not only is power not good for uphills in the late race, it's worse when there's an uphill in the late race. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like it's literally the opposite of the truth. It's less important if there's an uphill in the late race than if there isn't. Yeah. Problem of power versus wit at the moment IMO is the opportunity cost. You can get power on speed clicks. You need to go out of your way to get wit clicks. I agree with you, but one, at least the current scenario, right, makes clicking wit like it's like the best thing to click because it's really good in Haru because it lets you train more and you want to train as much as possible. That might not be the case in Mant anymore, but as of right now, at least, going like 2 speed, 4 wit isn't that big of a deal. And the other nice thing about wit, right, is that when you click speed, you can get power through speed clicks. You can get speed through wit clicks. Yes? Like, real amounts of speed, especially if you focus on it and you have a deck built around a lot of wit clicks and shit. You can, like, in the late race, you can get, like, in the late game, which is, like, when you're most focused on your stats in Haru anyway, right? You can get, like, damn near speed clicks worth of speed, especially for the energy efficiency, right? You can get like 15, 16 speed for like negative 10 energy. Like you gain 10 energy back for doing it. Yeah? So it doesn't give you power, but it does give you the more important stat, which is speed. Like wit max gives you the 2 most important stats in the game, in my opinion, which is speed and wit, right? It is true that you can get power through speed. If anything, that's like another reason to not really focus on power that much. Because like normally the power that you get through speed, just by getting to 1200 speed and clicking power a lot, is like, it usually means that you don't really have to focus on power very much at all, right? Like, because again, power is the stat with the most diminishing returns, right? Compared to wit, compared to speed actually too, but I mean, yeah, it diminishes more than wit does, right? So if you get to like 800 power, it's not that big of a difference between you and a guy with 1200 power, right? But by the way, if we can get into a talk of like, is power better than wit, right? Are you angering for speed, wit, flex, and mant, or guts, wit, high rolling? I think I will probably speed, wit, probably, just because I have the deck for it. Like having MLB nice nature, I think is gonna let me speed wit basically. He just gives the 15 race bonus, and it just makes the deck building so much easier than if... I don't know about Mant, by the way. Maybe turns out wit is bad in Mant, or wit clicks, or wit decks are bad in Mant. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to, again, for very good reason, I'm not just listening to what other people are saying and taking their word for it for Mant. I want to wait for the scenario to be out in my hands, and then I will try it out, right? The race bonus stuff is obvious enough, but other stuff, I don't know, right? But if wit decks are good... but like luxury, I think I am lucky enough. I got lucky enough on my nice nature pulls that I can't afford that luxury, I think. So I imagine I will probably still be going speed wit, but she's just saying nice nature is about to fall off heavy. I'd be so surprised. After Mant, I guess I could see it, but like I'd be very surprised if it happens in Mant, right? Because I feel like, I mean, she's probably the best wit card for Mant if you're late searching anyway, right? Probably, I mean, she's better than Fine Mo. She's Fine Mo with probably like slightly lower wit output and 5 more race bonus. Oh, I don't buy it personally. After Mant, I don't, maybe, I guess you could see like, I could see like, oh, there's a better wit card that comes out. I mean, again, we talked about this, but to power creep a wit card, as long as wit decks remain good, you need like 3 better wit cards to come out. So I would be taken aback personally, but you still need wit. Yeah, the main issue with the deck build is getting the gold skills. Guts has a harder time with that, while having 50-ish RB or more for thresholds. Yeah, I think again, I should be able to get 50 RB. I mean, I can if speed wit, if like a similar deck to what I'm running in Haru now, where it's like 2 speed 4 wit and there's no Rico, so it's gonna be like 2 speed 4 wit or like 3 speed 3 wit depending on the Uma or something. I can already think of a deck. Nice nature, Madafaka borrow probably. That's 25 by itself, right? Marvelous Sunday Agnes Tachyon is 45. KSB 50 with 1 card to spare. Right? Even bringing 5% wit bonus Kita-san, you have 1 card to spare and you're at 50 already. So, yeah, races do take more energy, man. I was taken aback, but I did not realize it was 20 and then 10, 25. But anyway, my point is we can get into a discussion on whether power is a better stat than wit. That's like the second layer of this, right? If you still think that, and you might be right that power, in at least in some cases, is going to be better than wit, that you would rather have that, you know, 1200 speed, 1200 power Uma, and like 600 wit than the 1200 speed, 600 power, 1200 wit, or probably, I mean, neither of them probably want them to ever go that low, but like probably closer to something more balanced, like 1200, 800, 1000 versus 1200, 1000, 800, or something like that. You might be right on some tracks that'll outperform. That's like the second layer conversation of this is, to me, I feel like there's a lot of misinformation about wit being this diminishing return stat, which is just not how probability works at all, right? Probability is exponential decay, so a small difference in the original number is a huge difference in like just this hammering difference in the end result of the equation. If you start at 90 versus 85 and you're exponentially decaying, it's crazy, right? But so that's one thing, right? And like downhill mode, I think is slept on. A lot of the stuff is slept on. That's more of a discussion, though. We can still talk about, okay, maybe power overall is still better. The thing that really boggles my mind is people not knowing what power does, right? People completely just being, again, not wrong, exactly opposite from the truth on the uphill thing. That's like the main crash out that I'm having, right? I do think, in my current understanding of the game, I do think that most of the time, even on a track like this, where the downhill is only 200 meters long, right? I still feel like I'm going to, like, if anything, if there's one thing I want to change about this Taiki, I wish she had, like, 70 less power and, like, 70 more wit. I'd be a lot happier with that, right? But the pace S is what really makes me not so mad about that, because she essentially does have, like, 80 more wit, right? She effectively has 960 wit for downhill mode and shit. Not for her skill procs, which sucks. But, like, if I could change one thing about this Taiki, I would take some of her power away and put more of her wit there. Obviously, give her 1200 speed, too, but ignoring that part, right? Which, I mean, the wit clicks probably would have done, now that I think about it. But I currently do think that wit is better than power in most cases. You have to have a really specific kind of track and meta for power to be better. But that's not even what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, let's go just looking at power and go, why is everyone just lying about the uphill straight up? Opposite of the truth. Not wrong. Direct opposite of the truth. Because the reality is, because there is a uphill in the late race here, power is worse than it would be otherwise. Not better, not more important. It's less important, right? And hearing the exact opposite of this so often, and then hearing the exact opposite of, like, you know, in the Armakinan, because there were those 4 hills in the mid-race, because they were in the late race, power's not that big of a deal. No. That's where power was the most important. Like, it's people misunderstanding power itself. We can then get into the discussion about how good is power compared to wit, but people don't even know what power does. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even know how to judge how much power they might need or what amount of power might be good. That's the part that really freaks me out. Anyway. Submission returns if you're only ever trying to proc one skill. Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, I feel like 8 on this Taiki, if you're talking about a well-made ace, this Taiki could have raced way more, by the way. Like, if I was a better player, this Taiki probably has, like, 20 less power and, like, 30 less wit, but, like, 2 to 3 more skills. You know what I mean? Like, if I was a better player and I raced, like, 19, 20, like, this was a high roll early on. I hit the Maya S and the pace S on the first inspiration, I think, and the trainings were good. I could tell it was a high roll from the beginning. If I was a better player, this Taiki probably has 2 or 3 more skills on her. Dead ass, right? And if this Taiki has 3 more skills on her, guess what? Wit becomes even more important than power. Because now I kind of want her to proc, like, 10 skills. Right? So, like, now wit is going to be, like, it's almost like it's almost like it's not diminishing returns, it's increasing returns, right? So I don't know. Anyway, let's keep trying for Haru. I'll make an end closer to Haru. You the real hero, man. You the real hero. I love Haru. If Haru was my Oshi, I might do it. Luckily for me, Ogre is my daughter, and she's also just she's been really good in every CM. Basically, she's never been worse than okay in every CM we've had. I don't think it's possible for a CM to happen where that wouldn't be the case. Yeah. I actually don't like even sprint. She can do sprint CMs. She can do dirt. She can do long, medium, and mile. Right. She can pace and late, so she's very flexible there. I don't know. Anyway. Thank you for listening to me rant. I really might, not this segment, because this is just, this was way too disorganized. But I might at some point try to record like a nice 10, 15 minute summarized video with the math proof here. At first, I feel like I almost want to make two different, like it would be, the uphill thing is its own thing. Comparing power to width is one thing. This is two discussions. Like a 7-minute video going, please stop recommending power on uphills in the late race. It's just, you're lying to people, right? And then a separate one talking about width and power. Those could be fun. But that uphill one is going to drive me crazy. So I might actually do that. Wouldn't take too long to make at all. So I might do that shit at some point, and then it will get 50 views and no one will care. But I'll have at least put my thoughts out into the universe, right? Because I mean, nobody who watches my channel. Most people who watch my channel do not play Uma, I don't think. But I'll at least have that rant out there somewhere. And I can point back to it whenever someone asks. For now though, turn that shit into a short and hit it big. I could definitely take part of it and the Uma Musume shorts do way better. Lightburb collab, bro. Lightburb, my heart hurts. He was saying this shit, right? Shorts. He was saying I've been watching some of his videos and I love his videos, but he was saying this shit about power being more important on an uphill in the late race, and I was like, why? Why? I know you do the math, right? You do the math, don't you? Is there something that I don't know? Why? Why, good sir? Why? Why would you say that? Right? I think, maybe I'm misremembering, but I thought I heard him say that. It broke my heart. It broke my heart right in two. Right? But anyway, that's gonna do it, folks. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow for more horse, and I don't think I can talk about Aquarius theoretically much more at this point. So I think surely tomorrow we will like do some Ogre or Pasa runs or something. For Aquarius, so surely we will play the game tomorrow, right? Surely? He can't fill like another 3 hours of ranting on Uma Musume. I don't think he can do it. But yes, have a wonderful rest of your day. Go hug someone that you love. Tell them that they mean a lot to you. Remind them of that shit. It's important to communicate. Embed yourself in your community, right? Have a great time. Start a book club with your neighbors or some shit. Because man, it's all we got. All we got is the connection to the people around us. And if you're in the States right now, things are already bad. And if you're anywhere else, things may get bad soon. And the only thing that saves you when the government points a gun at your head is the people around you you can rely on and trust when they send someone to knock on your door. So, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.